Oh, you son of a bitch. I've been looking for that thing. And Chase with his computer box behind him. All right, welcome to episode 196 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Powers, and joining me once again this week, we have Steven.
Konnichiwa.
And Chase.
Hello.
Oh, it has been an interesting week. I thought it was going to be a slow week, and then all kinds of crazy news popped up. So we'll be talking about new hardware from Steam, or coming from Valve, a whole bunch of stuff about like announcements for games we were happy about, and then immediately turning around and finding the publishers and developers are complete monsters. And just different directs and the worst Call of Duty launch I think I've ever seen.
Disappointment. Yep.
Yeah, mostly for a monitor, but we'll get to that. But before we get into there, let's talk about what we've been doing. And Steven, we'll start with you. What you been doing, man?
Surprisingly, I've still been playing ZZZ, but I got lucky and I got my character, so I just saved myself a bunch of money until the 26th. 26th, the next character gets announced.
Publisher right now is making a note. Steven got it too well. Make it harder for money.
And the cycle begins anew. We're getting ready. But other than that, I've been glued to Ball X Pit, trying to unlock all the levels, trying to beat it with every character, try to unlock every character. It's like Vampire Survivors in that you just keep on saying, okay, just one more, just one more, just one more. And then lastly, I've been going forward with Power Wash Simulator 2 with Chris. We're just seeing where the game's going now in terms of story as well.
Have they gotten any of the co-op stuff worked out so we can try and play again? Or
the PC version has an update, and it seems to have fixed the connectivity issues. So there is no more.
Okay.
Can't find him. He got in first try, so that was good.
So maybe I can
Xbox
actually join
doesn't
you
have
guys.
an update because Xbox didn't have any issues. The only thing he has the test, which he didn't yet, was picking up an object. But that's not a ladder. Because last time when he picked up a gnome / soccer ball, it froze and he was stuck. So,
gotcha.
But I know when we get tired of that, or if we want to switch up, we'll probably go back to Absalom again, because that's an awesome game as well.
Nice. All right, Chase, what about you? What you been doing?
Been playing a lot of War Tales lately. Really enjoying that game. Shano and I were going to try to play it co-op some more, but then the problem was I think the PC version got an update. Xbox didn't get an update, and so now they're different copies, so it's not compatible anymore. So developer probably needs to work on that. Yeah. Other than that, I did play a little bit of Dawn of War 2 Retribution. Still getting through that campaign as well.
Nice. So my copy of Crow Country finally showed up, and I have played the living hell out of that game. I absolutely love it. Because I know, Steven, you told me about it originally. I messed with the demo for a few minutes, was really intrigued. You told me to wait, and I got the physical copy. And I've managed, thankfully, to avoid all spoilers for this game. It is not a long game. I got it on Monday, and I had it beat by Tuesday afternoon, which is not a complaint. I'm fine with it being a short game. I was enthralled with it, playing it on my Switch 2 the entire time, be it on my TV or playing it portably. Working my way through the puzzles, figuring out like how the combat and stuff works. And I like the fact that anytime, like, you can have normal controls with the analog stick, or you can use the D-pad or buttons to do tank controls if you really want the old school Resident Evil, which was handy in a couple times because you just kind of work your way around. But so I played through, got my ranking. I got a B rank the first time I played it. And then immediately went back and I started messing with it, going like, I wonder how long it would take me to beat it. And then in one sitting, without a single save, I beat it again on Tuesday night, straight through, got an A rank that time. And now I've started my third run through with it, because you unlock different little hilarious items. Like you can find like a pair of running shoes in the first run. Then there's some stuff that opens up that it gives you a crowbar, and you can unlock a particular costume with special weapons. And then if like another ranking gives you a different weapon, which is one of the funnier ones. That's basically a grenade launcher, where you have like a toy bird with its wing spread as a gun, and whenever you pull the trigger, it launches off like, you remember like those little missiles on toys when you were kids, like for GI Joe or Transformers, like you hit the spring and it'd fly off. The head does that and it bounces and then explodes like an actual grenade, which is just overpowered and funny. I'm gonna have to. I think I have to play at the hardest difficulty, not use any of the new items, and then beat it. Thankfully, it doesn't care about time, so you can take your time while playing it or trying to solve stuff. But it's like completion and how many times you save and how many times you heal. But you can play through the entire game in like less than 2 hours.
Nice.
Like you can just sit there if you know where you're going, you can just rip through stuff. And I'm sitting there trying to think like, if I get this item, because sometimes there's alternate ways to open stuff, could I skip getting entire things? And like, it's the first time in a while I've thought actively of how to speed run a game, and I was like, that has pulled me in. Like when I've gotten to that point, I am intrigued. So, Stephen, thank you again for recommending that one. It has become a highlight of my game collection now.
That's a good game.
And I I should have brought the case. I put a picture on Discord. Because it had reversible cover art, and it's just got a close-up of one of the crows with just this all bird, no brain. Just the look of it is so funny. And it gives it the black border, like black outside casing, like the old, like the Wii U and some of the other like Wii games that have that black border if they were an R-rated title. So it's kind of funny seeing that on a Switch game, which I think the only other one I have that does that is Bayonetta now. They have the alternate covers. So yeah, play Crow Country. I love it. I did guess the ending before I got to it, but it was kind of creative and very weird game. Lots of good humor too. I love how self-referential and how much it pokes at stuff, like how you kick a door, you get something to fall out, and she's just cheering herself that she solved a problem with violence, and that just proves you can do that. So, yeah. Beyond that, once I took a break from Crow Country, I got back into Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment, or the Imprisoning War, whatever one it was. And still really liking that one. I've been playing it for a good number of hours now, and I'm only like very little through the game. Like there's so much content, like so much story wise, plus a bunch of little side missions and things you could do. I've been unlocking more and more characters. I finally gotten to the point that I can start not just upgrading the weapons I have, but I'm finding new weapons. And it even popped up just a little bit before the show where it's like, hey, we can see you've got game saves for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. So like, here's new weapons you get because of those. So that was kind of a fun little surprise to get. Cool. Yeah, I love when games do that. It's like one of my favorite things. Because it's a fun reward of like, hey, you played our previous games. Here's something more. So, I'll have to sit and talk with you about this a little bit more, Chase, at some point, because the Muso games are really your thing. And I know Hyrule Warriors isn't really as popular with you, which is fine. But I have been really enjoying the way the combat and the combo system works for it, because you have to kind of remember what the combos are based on your attacks to counter attacks that are coming at you, be it airborne or runs and things like that.
Okay.
And then also where you send people to different things, because you have different types of combination attacks you can do with each person. If it levels, like if it ranks up and you're close enough, you can do special combos. Like one of them, you call in basically like one of the robots, and Zelda's riding on the back of it, and you're just using it to like punch and shoot things. And it's just kind of fun. Another one, it's also involving Zelda with the king. They'll like put their hands together, and then they're both shooting beams, and you're using each analog stick to aim them until it finally does one shot at whatever you're targeting. So it's a lot of fun. I want to try and do co-op with it. I haven't got the kids to play it yet, or else I'd try it with local. And I don't know anyone else that has it to play online, so I'll have to see how that goes. But it's been a lot of fun. So I know it's kind of the part of the the Muso family that's not really what you're into, but it's like the one I enjoy. So it's kind of we've had this discussion before, but
yeah, I played the first one and I didn't mind it. I just haven't got into like because this is what, the third one now, so I haven't got into the second or the third one.
This is the first time that they were like, yeah, this one's canon.
Yeah, but I say the first one was for fun. The second one was kind of canon / alternate possibilities, and then this one is straight up canon. And I do have to say they've stuck with it really well. because you see a lot of these events when Zelda's in the past during Twilight Princess, or not Twilight Princess, um, Tears of the Kingdom. I'm gonna mix up my Zeldas here. And they have stuck with that. Like they haven't changed anything. Certain events happen, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm already at this point.
Except for in the English version, Link gets friend zoned, not in the Japanese version.
Oh, I did not know that was a thing yet. That's that hasn't come up at all because Link isn't in this one.
She just says who's Link, and Link's like he's a friend, and
Oh.
everybody's like, oh crap! And then people went to the Japanese version, and that's never said. So they're like, what are you doing, NOA?
That's kind of how it's treated somewhat in the games too. It's like a will they, won't they type thing. Like
First Mario gets friend zoned, and now Link. What's going on?
I honestly, I heard that line and I didn't even bat an eye because I mean, there's a whole thing in Tears of the Kingdom. You find where Zelda had like her room, and she, she kind of has a thing for Link, but they don't. It's non,
Excuse me, princess.
Yeah,
he always wanted to kiss.
It's an always back and forth. If they put that Link version of Link in any of these games, that would be terrifying. But you've also got like a robot that is the Link fill-in because you can't have Link. You're in the past. He's never shows up there. He can't be there. So they kind of make one, which is running around with the most adventurous Korok I've ever seen, which you actually get to fight as, by the way, as a freaking Korok throwing seeds everywhere. Surprise! He's actually really fun. I was kind of shocked by that one. There's some Panzer Dragoon style levels. I finally got to play one of those, which were pretty neat. You can find different Zonai items to modify your vehicle, which the vehicle is just the Link character transformed into a bird, which is really enjoyable. That had some good combat. Like it's surprisingly a good mix of stuff. So if you were going to try and one of these out, I don't know if they have a demo or something, but I would probably
only in stores.
Oh, okay. This is one, Chase, I would say give it a go because it kind of feels like some of the previous ones I played, but you played more of them than me. So maybe I'll stream it one night and we can take a look at it and kind of see where we go from there.
Yeah, boy, Tecmo can do no wrong with Nintendo.
Yeah, it seems like it right now, doesn't it?
Not later, it won't.
Oh,
Not later at all. I got the internet mad at me. Y'all can fuck off. I'm going to say what I say. Anyways, Amanda and I went and saw Predator Badlands the other day. I really liked it. I thought it was a good Predator movie. I don't know when this takes place, but it's obviously well in the future. Definitely solidifies Aliens and Predator because the entire group they're dealing with is Weyland-Yutani, so it's like straight up aliens, out and out.
Yeah, they showed it in the trailer.
Yeah, which we kind of knew about. And it's kind of nice that they're just confirming those two are on the same. Weyland-Yutani seems to know about the Yautja, so they kind of showing that their civilization's been around for a while, and I guess people got upset because this guy, the deck that you're, I was gonna say playing as, but you're watching yeah, it felt like a video game, and I don't mean that in a bad way. This could have made a good Predator game, I think, if how everything played out.
So much they've seen it twice already, so it's like it's fine, it's good.
Yeah, we don't get much of a chance to go to theaters that much anymore, so it was kind of a nice thing for me and Amanda to finally get out without the kids and go watch it. But yeah, you're watching through the whole thing, and it's basically he's the runt of the family, to put it nicely, and the Yautja wants all weakness purged from their tribes, so they want him killed. He manages to get away, and it's like him going on this first hunt to prove himself to this planet that, well, pretty much everything there will kill you. And Weyland-Yutani tried to send humans there. They were eviscerated immediately, so they sent nothing but robots, and it's just kind of the back and forth on there. They never once have the Yautja speak English, which is fine. It's subtitled for him the entire time. The other character speaks a little bit of Yautja and then says, like, I'm using a universal translator, I'll hear English, you'll hear that. And it's just, they're not making her speak the language the whole time, which is fine. They hunt for Red October to her pretty much. But I was kind of surprised that none of the Yautja, like not a single one ever speaks English. And I was like, okay, you guys stuck with that. Cool. But
wonder if Peter Cullen gets a royalty every time the Predator does his little click.
I don't know. I know some people were complaining because it's a PG-13 movie. It is just as violent as some of the other Predators. The difference is there's not a single human being there. So you're seeing blood and guts and things getting cut apart and limbs and things like that, but none of it's human. It's androids or aliens or plants or things like that. So you never once see actual blood. And I think that's how they got around an R rating. And that's fine. Like that might be a weird loophole and more people can see it, but all the violence and things are there. Like they get, if these were people and this was happening to them, this would be a hard R.
Yeah, that's how people get around showing Mortal Kombat videos, like fatality demonstrations. Is they either use the T-1000 or they use Reptile, and they don't get flagged.
Yeah, or like Cyrax or for some of the androids or
They
something.
don't get age restricted because it's just silver paint or green goop.
Right.
So,
And this doesn't feel like a cop out. You know, like some movies they try and make PG-13 versions and it feels like a cop out. This just feels like it got it coincidentally without them having to actually trim what they were doing. Because it wouldn't have made sense, especially with the way the world was built, to have people there to be violently killed. Because at worst you'd see them destroyed by, the creatures around there, and they already confirmed, yeah, we couldn't send people here, no one could survive. So I don't know, worked out well. Yeah, it's kind of cute for certain things, and it actually has a bit of a heartwarming ending for a Predator movie. I was kind of shocked. But it has a cliffhanger ending as well, so I'm hoping they make a sequel to this. So yeah. Other thing, I've just been playing a shit ton of Vampire Survivors. I only remember that because you talked about it after Ball X Pit, and playing that on my Switch 2 has not helped my productivity at all. I shouldn't have made it that much more convenient.
I did get to see what it looks like in VR.
Oh, I forgot to watch that. How was it?
It looks like Demio because it's like you're watching the board down there, and you can look up and see the treasures you get, your score and everything, and then look back down and see all the
Okay.
chaos.
Yeah, I meant to watch that trailer. I never did it. So there's still 2D sprites. Nothing's like 3D or running around. It's just you're seeing an overview.
It's just looking up and seeing, like, when the treasure goes off, it's not covering the action down there. It's up higher, so you can look up and be like, "What did I get for a treasure? Oh, cool!" And then look back down.
That's kind of weird, actually. Huh. Well, we'll talk about that in a bit. We'll find out where else we might be playing that in VR. All right, so let's jump over to our group chat then, because we've had a lot we've talked about this week. So, for pickups, the only thing I really have this week, and I meant to mention this earlier, Batman: The Dark Knight Returns. They've had a series of the different cowls they've done, and I have the life-size 1989 Michael Keaton Batman, and then I have a bunch of the smaller ones that I really like. But this one is the comic book version of Batman's armor from Dark Knight Returns, and I couldn't skip this. I just love the fact they did the actual comic accurate cartoon looking version pretty well. So I wanted to have a little fun with that. The other thing I picked up last week was this, which is actually the John Williams original score for the Superman movie, but it also comes with a full graphic novel for Superman 78, which is like some extra tales beyond it with Lex Luthor, Brainiac, and some other stuff in there, which is really, really nice to listen to and a good book to read. What about you, Steven?
Well, from Walmart, I got the glowy.
I've been
Metroid.
Looking for that thing everywhere. No sign of it.
It's on Walmart for $20. I ordered it online and got it in a couple of days.
Okay, I may just have to break down. I try and follow the rule of finding it in stores if I can. It's like a challenge, but they're not anywhere around
I
here.
had to get this because they had a Walmart online exclusive if you wanted the apple pie Kraft macaroni and cheese. So I was like, okay. And you heard that right. I'm going to be trying it soon with Christian.
Apple pie,
yep.
Kraft macaroni and cheese.
You got it.
What hybrid fucking mess is this, Nightmare?
I don't know, but it was a Walmart online exclusive. You could not
Kraft.
get it. So I was like, okay.
That's like, I've got broccoli flavored Oreos. That does not mesh at all.
Careful, they might make those now.
Mate, it's Walmart. Just don't
oh
ask
my
questions.
I didn't show
God.
it off last time, but here's my red controller from
Ooh, I
Atari.
was curious about those.
That has the 2 different plug adapters, so you can play forward or backward in time, which is nice.
Nice.
I went to good old Woot. They had these. They call these the Ninja Turtles arcade cruisers. They transform into a turtle.
A turtle van.
But other than that, they have 2 screens. They have the character select screen, and since it's lenticular, the other screen is from the arcade machine.
Okay, so it's not playable. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Neat
still
little
trying to
thing.
find a machine about that size with enough buttons for a Game Boy for a project, and I can never find them, and I got my hopes up for a second, but yeah, that's
But
a
then
toy.
I came across my algorithm likes to feed me stuff, and this one was out of nowhere on my TikTok, and I said to myself, I don't know how much longer this is going to be available, so I'm going to look into it. So, as you can see, I got something from the Nintendo Museum.
Oh shit! What did you
I
get?
was just like, I had to. It is the Nintendo Museum official book, the Mario 40th Anniversary Edition.
Oh
It is the
wow!
English version, so the whole book's in English. And it's got a super duper scary page that shows all the merchandise available at the store. And I'm like, dang it.
And I happen to be wearing a Nintendo New York shirt today, ironically enough.
So I was like, I'm going to look through that again and make a list of what I need to find a good price for on maybe on eBay for the Nintendo Museum, because with the lottery system, nobody's getting in there anytime soon.
I want the giant controller pillows.
Yeah,
Like,
like the Wii
I want a
Pillow. Yeah.
gamepad. I want a Wii remote. I want those.
And then lastly, I got the 2 Warhammers. So I got Bolt Gun and I got
Nice.
Mechanicus. So now I got good music and I got a Boomer Shooter. I hopefully they fix the audio issues in this one because it's the only physical they made.
Yeah, I need to get a hold of that one because I was curious. I got it for PC, but it'd be kind of fun to get it on Switch.
Yeah, and I played it on Game Pass and I really liked it. And I was just like, please fix the audio.
Nice.
But Nintendo now has a searchable website that you can just search whatever game you want and it'll tell you how it's doing. Because
Awesome.
apparently all the Doom games have progression bugs, so don't play it on your Switch 2.
Oh, son of a bitch. That's fine. They play great on my Switch 1. I'll be fine. Chase, do you have any pickups this week, or is it?
Nah, nothing really to add.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Well, let's talk about our other interesting experiment in games, and that is our first time playing RV There Yet, which was very buggy, very weird, and I have never hated stick shift more than this game. Because God, it just, you guys talked me into getting this, and I was like, all right, we'll give it a shot, and it is so fucking weird. Steven, I'm going to let you explain this because you started this shit.
I loved every minute of it.
Oh no, it was hilarious.
There is
But
a
God.
mappable smoke button because smoking makes you move faster,
And
and you
drinking
have
makes you
unlimited
stronger.
amount of cigarettes for that. Beer makes you super strong, and you actually will litter. You'll drink it, crush it, drop it. But what's great is you can stock your RV with the beers, with everything from oil to just different tools. If you go into the
Bear
bathroom, that's
spray
how you
and
change your hat if you've collected more than one hat or glasses, which is nice. I think we got a good portion of the game through. I didn't mind that the game was buggy because it was just hilarious. Because when we tried to do stuff that we shouldn't be allowed to do, the RV just went ballistic and destroyed itself.
what drove me nuts was trying to, like, I kept catching on a tree, making a right turn. Like one spot kept catching and glitching into the car. The other time it was on our way up there trying to jump this RV across a bridge. And mind you, you have to actually shift gears. Like you can't just hit a button to shift it. You have to move the stick to get into the gear while hitting the clutch on a controller. And I tried it with a keyboard and mouse. That goes
My
straight to hell.
favorite part was I didn't need to see if he made it or not. I just watched him go off the edge, and if the energy went down, he didn't make it. But if the energy just took off a little bit, he made it.
I made it the first
energy
time.
go way down. I was just like, "Are you all right?"
I made it the first time, and I was stuck. And I was like, I don't want to move. I don't want to get out of the seat. I don't want to turn the wheel. Like the RV is just sitting there on the edge. And I'm like, please come down here and help me.
We actually had a fourth player follow us through the game called Snake. That everywhere we kept respawning, the snake would be like, "Hey, remember me from the beginning?"
He
Like,
kept
all right.
spawning closer and closer to the RV. I think he was literally under the RV and could bite me through the RV one time.
And
The
every time we
bear,
were about to go over the bridge, the bear showed up. I had to push it off a cliff after hitting it. We've sprayed it. It's just an annoying bear.
it would just slap entire chunks off the RV, and we're like, can we fix this? I don't know. I kind of wonder, like, did the weight affect it if he tore the RV apart beforehand? Maybe that would help me jump if we made it lighter.
There's a few times he knocked off a huge piece, and I was able to pick up the piece and put it in my inventory. So I was like, okay. It put it in like the scrap section, so I was like, that means I can rebuild it.
The game is a lot of fun. It definitely needs a little bit of work, but like a lot of games like that tend to be where they need some updates to continue. But like we were having fun until Chase, I think you glitched out and got kicked off the game and like just never came back. You were just
my game crashed. My game crashed hard.
He's got to tell you the real story. What happened?
What real story?
It crashed, and then he was just like, "I'm hungry, but I'm not going to tell anyone. Goodbye."
Oh yeah,
yeah. We never got a message or anything. We're like, "Where did Chase go?"
I was like, "Did he die? Did he die?"
I died already. My game died.
Like, I got hungry and left. I was like, "You could have told somebody."
We were sitting there waiting on him. Like, where's he at?
Yeah, my game crashed like hard as fuck, and then I was just like, "I'm really hungry. You know what? This is a sign." Just
you could have put it on even like. All we saw was that he switched over to Supermarket Simulator, and I was like, "That's not him." First off, second off, he could have just said, "Hungry, bye." I don't know.
Yeah, we have this multiplayer Discord that we use that we could have put a message on. We were messaging you on it.
I was about to put out a bolo because I was just like, or a Amber Alert because I was just like, I don't have a freaking message or a text, and I'm trying everything I know, and I was like, he's not answering me. I think he's gone somewhere.
I guess part of my assumption was that, I guess part of my assumption was that I assumed if it crashed for me, that it was crashed for you guys as well. So I was just like, oh, okay.
No, we were fine.
Oh, okay.
We were just like, where'd Chase go?
Pretty bad. Yeah, that was bad then.
We got another game like waiting now that he bought you a copy of.
Yeah, I know.
That is very similar, but now we don't have to drive a car. So.
I assume that's what we're doing tonight, right? Is playing that one?
Definitely.
Oh, yeah. Why not? All right.
So to give you some quick background, Chase, It's called Peak. And while the energy will look similar to RV there yet, I've been told it's just one guy who made this game. But we're just trying to climb to the tallest point of the mountain.
Okay. It was like only a few dollars, so I was like, screw it.
It's got checkpoints where you can get revived. You can help each other up when you're climbing. If you've ever played any Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, you already know how to climb. You just need to know a few more mechanics and you'll be fine.
It looks funny and janky, so I'm in. Why not? Plus, we've already bought it for you, so it's not like you got to pay for it.
It was on sale.
I think your copy and mine combined was like $8. So it's not like it was really crazy.
That's awesome.
Because that's what he said. He's like, oh, I'm looking at this one. We just going to see about Chase getting it. I looked at the price and I was like, screw this. Just did it. Plus, I was curious, can I buy you a game? Which I can, which is awesome. Because I tried to buy you something for like the Zenspath Christmas or something for the past year. And I was like, it's really difficult to send you or buy anything for you in freaking New Zealand.
Buy him the Tomb Raider trilogy, the new one that he likes so much that's really long.
Yeah, I hate to spoil your Christmas, Chase. You're getting Steam shit, all right? That's what you're getting. I hope you like it because it's all I can get.
I won't say no.
Yeah, it'll already be in your account. I don't think you can say no to a purchase. I don't know how that works. Like,
somebody's harassing me with games.
Report.
I'm gonna buy him all those like card card games like where it just strips the woman. Like she's oh no, I don't want them.
Tomb Raider. Can I report them?
Gonna get them all the Tomb Raiders. All right, let's look at something else a little more disappointing in this week's news. All right. So Sony had a State of Play Japan, specifically what they called it. There was no English one. We're just going to do highlights on November 11th. So the few things I saw that were kind of interesting. Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly remake is coming out on March 12th of 2026.
birthday.
This is coming out for PS5, Switch 2, Series X and S, and Steam. So,
Switch 2 keycard.
oh, it is a key card? Fuck. I will just continue to play my older versions of that game then. Dynasty Warriors Origins, Visions of Four Heroes DLCs coming out January 22nd, 2026.
What's
So,
interesting about that one is
Uh-huh.
Chase is they're doing the story will remain the same, but you could pick your gender. So you can be a female hero or a male hero, and it'll do the story. So they give you a choice this time, but it's one of those just like stories where I guess you're not a pivotal character, but you'll play in the world of Dynasty.
Yeah, looks to me like from what I saw from the trailer and stuff, it looks to me like it's just the Extreme Legends. Essentially, it's because if you're familiar with the older games, there was usually the Dynasty Warriors mainline game, and then there would be an Extreme Legends versions of it, which would just add extra content to it, and that's all this really is to me.
And you've enjoyed Origins from what you've played, right?
Origins is really good.
That's what I thought. I remember you talked about it. This next one actually kind of caught me by surprise, and I want to play it. It's called Motion Wreck, coming spring 2026 for PS5, PC, and Switch 1, which is cool. It's a puzzle platformer where you record your actions and then play them back when you want to pass obstacles or clear levels. So as they showed it, like you ran across a level, like a flat ground while you recorded it, went to the next room, played back the recording, it would have you go across this big gap because it just treated like you were walking across it. So you'd see what you have to do, try and fix it in a different room to record those movements and then use them in the following area or in different patterns to get through it. So it seems like it'll be a fun little platformer I actually want to try out. After that, we had Tokyo Extreme Racer coming finally to consoles on February 2nd, 2026. It's on PC right now, but it's coming to PS5. This is a series I used to really enjoy back in the day on like the Dreamcast and the PlayStation 2 and things like that for just Tokyo street racing, from back then. And then the highlight of this whole show is the PlayStation Gaming Monitor, which is a 27-inch QHD screen, which is only 1440p. I thought this would be a 4K, but no, it's 1440. 240 hertz HDR display. So it's basically just a computer monitor. Doesn't have any speakers, so you're going to have to get the Pulse Elevate speaker system or use the headphone jack on your controller.
Another arcade stick, so you can have like lag free.
Right. I do kind of like they have this little hook that folds down from the back of the monitor that you can put your DualSense controller into, like it hangs there and actually charges it. That's kind of neat. But just charge it with a cable and get a better monitor. So,
but it turns your DualSense into like truck nuts.
God, I hadn't thought about that. Oh God, we have to Photoshop that monitor with an actual
by the way.
Yeah, we're gonna have to Photoshop that monitor now to have an actual set of truck nuts under it.
Be like, hey man, my nuts are DualSense.
God, this is why people never watch this show.
Yes, this is exactly why.
That's probably me. I don't know. Yeah, this seemed like it had a few interesting announcements, but this is like the most this could have been an email PlayStation event they've had in a while. It's basically just like, here's a couple trailers and we're going to release a monitor. Like whatever. I don't know.
Please like us.
Yeah. Are you guys going to get the monitor? Yeah, I didn't think so.
I'm going to get all the games they announced on Switch. Okay.
The thing is, though, is there's going to be a lot of people that will. A lot of people get the monitor. A lot of people get the speakers.
People who get that monitor and the speakers are the same people who are probably lining up to get that $300 iPhone sock. So,
oh God, because mind you, we still don't know how much those speakers are. They still have not announced it, and we have no idea how much this monitor is going to be. And yeah, it's 240 hertz, but it's not even 4K, which is supposed to be what the PlayStation 5 can output. You think they would make a monitor that fully supported the range of the console it's meant for?
Yeah, I think this is if I had to guess, the people that are playing on a monitor are probably the people that are playing for like, playing like the Call of Duties, the Battlefield 6s, people that want like the
Tekken,
least
Street
amount of
Fighter.
input. Yeah, fighting games.
Yeah.
People that want the like least amount of input like possible. So they're not going to be playing at 4K anyway.
Yeah, I think these are more for the streamers.
Yeah,
I
probably.
can see that.
More
Will
of
it be
your
priced
competitive people.
accordingly? Probably not.
Wow.
Will it be
It,
given
it'll,
out to all the
it'll,
streamers? Probably.
yeah, it's gonna have that. It's gonna have that Sony tax on it.
They're gonna give it to the streamers, and they'll be like, "Say something nice, or we'll take it back."
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, so while Sony released hardware we were very disappointed by, Valve, on the other hand, had a lot of surprising stuff that they announced. So let's talk about theirs. So yeah, this is probably one of the biggest things for tonight. Steam announces a whole lineup of new hardware coming in 2026. So the first thing we have is the Steam Machine, which is going to be a full Steam OS. Go ahead, Stephen.
I don't think we should be calling it that from here on out. I think we should be calling it like everybody on the internet is saying. It's called the Gabe Cube.
No, it's a Steam Machine. I refuse to call it that damn name.
And I do like that
Actually
D-Brand,
clever, though.
and D-Brand already
Not
made a skin
really.
for it. D-Brand already made a skin for it that's going to make it look like a companion cube.
I saw that. That's going to be kind of funny. So it's a tiny gaming PC, about 160 millimeters cubed. It's a semi-custom AMD desktop class CPU and GPU. So power-wise, they're saying about 6 times what a Steam Deck can do. So don't expect this to be a big high-end system. This is more in line, I think even they said, with like a laptop gaming, which is not bad. Like I have a laptop that I play on that's a 4070 that plays really well. This is more on the AMD, so I'm not 100% sure on what the comparison is. But I
They say
know,
it's 6 times the power of a Steam Deck.
yeah, that's what I'm saying of a Steam Deck, but like compared with some graphic cards and things like that, because they did have some people playing games going through it. Digital Foundry got to try it out, and they had a pretty good breakdown in comparison on what it was able to do for stuff like Cyberpunk. They call this a 4K 60 machine. That is air quoted to hell and back. Not to knock it, but this feels more like probably 1440p is going to be the main kick for it, which is
You
fine.
get the monitor.
Get the monitor. There you go.
Yeah, get
See,
your
we're
PlayStation
already-
monitor with your Steam Machine.
The Steam Machine's so small, maybe you can just hang it from the hook.
Play all your
Yeah.
PlayStation PC games. You're all
Wait,
set.
so how big did you say the Steam Machine is?
160 millimeters.
160.
It's
Okay.
about the size of a GameCube, maybe a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I was about
It's
to say.
bigger than
So
that,
like
yeah.
that's 160 right there, and I mean that's
Yeah.
my hand.
If you
Like-
watch the video next to a plant,
But that's about a GameCube.
it's really
Chase.
small.
Yeah.
That's
That's fair. Okay.
It's pretty close. So yeah, I get the joke of the GameCube. I'm like, it just sounds like someone's trying to say GameCube and they have a speech impediment. It feels like we're mocking somebody. It's 512 gig or 2 terabyte options for storage with expandable with a micro SD card. One thing I do like, if you have a Steam Deck, you can just apparently take the micro SD card out of each one and just put it in the other device, and your games are already ready to go, which is cool. So, you could just pop it out of your Steam Deck, put it in the front of this thing, play it on your TV without having to download and install and configure things, and then put it back when you're done. Wear and tear on the port, but still kind of nice for people that may not have enough storage for everything all the time, though micro SD is pretty cheap. The internal is an actual SATA drive, so not SATA, but NVMe, so you can upgrade it. It's a little trickier to get to it though, because you have to take part of the cooling system apart, but it is an option there to do it, and it does support the full size ones, not just the small ones that are in the Steam Deck, so that's cool. 2x2 Wi-Fi 6E with a Bluetooth 5.3 with its own dedicated antenna. There's also a Steam controller that's included with it, which we'll talk about in a minute, but it has a wireless adapter built into the unit to make it as lag-free as possible for wireless, which is cool. 1 gigabit Ethernet, DisplayPort 1.4, HDMI 2.0, 1 USB-C, and 4 USB-A ports. It's got a removable and customizable front plate for cleaning, but a lot of people are already showing with custom art, and people are getting the files out trying to 3D print replacements, so you could probably make weird little front covers for this thing. So God only knows what it's going to look like in some people's houses.
GameCube.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Yeah,
I should see about printing a GameCube front, make it look like it has the ports and everything. God, I should do that. There's an LED strip at the bottom front for design, as well as showing things like your download progress and so forth, which is kind of cool. So if you buy a game and it's downloading in the background, you could be playing something else and you'll see the little LED and you can visually tell what your download status is, which is kind of a fun little bonus.
That's got to be worth the price.
We don't know what the price is,
Oh,
sadly. And it's also designed specifically to stream to the Steam frame, which we'll talk about in a minute as well, or to your Steam Deck locally. So like if you install your games onto this, you can connect to it with your Steam Deck and stream your games off of it easier than, other devices or even your PC sometimes. So that could be kind of a fun way to use it too.
they also make sure to say this is a PC, so you can do whatever you want to it in terms of apps or any other thing to it.
Yeah, it's running SteamOS, which is a flavor of Linux. So keep that in mind, which means that there are restrictions on what you can play, just like there were on Steam Deck, and there's also restrictions to what programs you can run. You can put other OSs on here. Like they didn't say Windows outright, but I'm sure someone's going to try it when they get it. I don't know how that's going to run, but I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, because there's the misconception that they have to market it right, because you have to remind people like this. This is Linux or Linux, depending on which side you like to pronounce it.
It's Linux.
No, it's Linux. But anyway,
and in this corner,
you have the wrong fucker of Steven, and then the correct pronunciation for once with Jeremy.
Excuse me, my brother's a computer programmer, and
with a lisp, apparently.
It's named after the creator, so it's Linux. Anyway, and it's GIF. But anyway,
the show's over. That, fuck this.
Total dealer. They make sure to say on there, yes, it's a PC, so you got to know, like, you still have to do all your settings in the game.
Right.
You still have to, like, install stuff on it. There's still the tweaking, because if they can come across with something that will, just, like, kind of pick the best options for you, kind of like how PlayStation does their, optimized performance or optimized frame rate.
Right.
People are hoping that eventually they come up with an idea like that, which would be nice.
No, it's one of the few things Xbox does
about
best.
About as powerful as a PS5, but not quite a PS5 Pro.
I was actually hearing a little bit less than that for part of it, because like they were running Cyberpunk and getting more of like the 40 to 50 FPS range. When they tried to turn it into the ray tracing options on, it tanked it to like 30 or lower. They were trying to mess with it, and it wasn't fully optimized for what they were doing. Like this is not going to be like some giant powerhouse, but that's not a bad thing. It doesn't have to be, because when you look at like Steam's metrics, this is going to be about as powerful, or not more powerful, than about 70% of everyone's setups, because not everybody has high-end stuff. Even my 4070 and my desktop, my 4070 Ti, is higher end than a lot of people normally use. Some people are still using 10 series. Like my old computer is a 1070 Ti. That thing still runs games. It just doesn't run them very well. So people like that, this would be a step up. I think the other function for this, which we talked about a little bit before the show, and I was looking at, some people may get this as a secondary computer just to have as like a console in their living room area. I wouldn't mind getting one of these if it's affordable, to play PC games sitting on the couch instead of having to plug my laptop into the TV every time, or come in here and sit at my desk and play on my desktop. It's more comfortable in there, and I'd rather do that. This would be great.
Yeah, that's what concerns me, because even when you watch the video, it looks like even when you turn it on, you still need a keyboard and mouse to navigate menus.
They said you do not, because it comes with the controller, which we'll talk about in a minute. But that has the pads on it and stuff.
Desktop mode, though, and desktop mode.
Well, that's like on a Steam Deck. You can go to desktop mode, and you still need to have a keyboard and mouse and do all that stuff. So, I mean, that's your decision if you do that, but it treats it like a general console. You can, go into a browser on a PlayStation 5 or a Series X, and you need a keyboard and mouse sometimes to do things. So if you decide to go into that realm, that's what you're wandering into. That's the option for it. But it tries to act like a console as best it can. I'm sure some developers, just like with Steam Deck, are going to have presets on their stuff, to recognize you're on a Steam machine, or, something you can select that kind of pre-configures it for it. Not as much. That's not going to be a common thing, but, I could see at least a couple of them doing it. Valve, I definitely could, because I know they make custom controls for some of the Half-Life games and stuff. I still think this is going to be a good one for a lot of people. Just, I think people need to realize this is not going to be some high-end gaming PC. It's just not going to be. It's too damn small, for one thing. Like, good God, that is tiny. Like, and then, on top of that, you've still got the restrictions of what games you can play because it's Linux. There's going to be titles like you cannot play the new Call of Duties, you can't play Battlefield, you can't play Fortnite, because those things require Windows software to run certain stuff.
Warcraft.
Yeah, Warcraft you won't be able to do. But there's a lot of games you can play. For the majority of people, this is pretty close to what a good option. I could see Jeremy, my oldest, buying one of these maybe, because his only computer he plays with is a Steam Deck, and he hooks it up to the TV in the living room and plays PC games using that with his brother, who's on an actual computer with a 2070 in it. I've just noticed, or no, he has a 2060. I was about to say we all had 70 series something, but we don't. So he's got a 2060 in his. So it's kind of comparable going back and forth. So this would work for him. And then Chase, you and Chinoa were talking about getting a second PC. And ironically, when I mentioned it, you were like, yeah, you guys had talked about this. So what are your thoughts on it? I'm kind of curious.
I mean, definitely interested in it, because especially for, say, like Chinoa, particularly because she plays a lot of like older like CRPGs, like from like developers like Spiderweb Software and stuff. So it's not necessarily like games that are like graphically intensive. And so I think something like that actually might be like super great for like as a stopgap. And so I think it's something that we kind of ummed and awed about. I mean, we'll talk about the controller in a minute. I definitely am thinking about getting one of them. But yeah, no, I think it's quite interesting because you had the talks with Microsoft trying to do something similar, and now all of a sudden Steam's announced that they're doing this. So it's like, feels like everybody knows what everybody's doing.
I've seen the comparisons, and even when this got announced, I made the joke on Discord about like Microsoft freaking out.
Yeah.
But there is a difference on these that people need to keep in mind, because just like a Steam Deck, which I love my Steam Deck, but you are restricted on what you can play.
Yeah.
Based on how their OS is. And there's a lot of stuff you want to play, but like there's certain games I was excited to play portably that I cannot play at all. Like I really was like, oh cool, I'm going to play through Batman Arkham Asylum. And that is just a no-go. It still does not work in any way, shape, or form, which means I won't be able to play it on this either. Yeah, I can break out the console version, but I kind of wanted a nice portable that wasn't the terrible Switch version.
Yeah, they said this was adding Steam Machine Verified now to the store.
Which is good. I think the verified stuff is good, and there are games that aren't verified that still run on my Steam Deck just fine. Street Fighter 4 is a big one that I tried out, and I can play it without any problem, but it is not verified whatsoever.
Some of them you just have to remap controls and force it sometimes too.
Well, there's other ones that just don't work. Like I tried talking about Arkham, because I have the collection. I tried to play Arkham Origins because it said it was not supported. And I got to play it for a while, and I was like, no, it's actually running pretty well. And then I got to the first boss fight, and the boss would not render, but I'm still fighting him. So that I managed to get through the fight. I don't know how the hell I did it. I was just looking for any clues of like effects in the background as the character's running around and I'm fighting, but I'm like, yeah, this isn't going to work. I get why they say it's broken. So I'm hopeful for that. Whatever Microsoft is doing, though, if they actually have a Windows integration, they'll have the Steam games. They'll have, GOG, which I have a feeling if Shinoa is playing older games, GOG is probably a place she would really like to pull up these old PC games and be able to play them that are not compatible with Steam, and things like that. So they're each going to have the ups and downs. The biggest question we have for this or any of the accessories or other things we're going to announce for them, how much is it going to cost?
Yeah.
So what I want to ask for you guys, what would be the sweet spot? Doesn't have to be realistic or whatever, think about the hardware or whatever, but what would be the sweet spot for you to make this worth getting in your house, either as a main computer or a secondary just console? And Chase, since we talked about it, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts?
I'll just say it in USD because I don't want to even try to think about what the conversion
Yeah,
rates
don't
would
make
be.
yourself cry.
But I think the sweet spot probably for me, I think is depends on how aggressive they want to be or not, but probably between 6 to 8, probably closer to 6.
Okay.
I think, but I'd say maybe between 6 to 8.
Okay.
Relatively.
So, Stephen, what about you?
As somebody who remembered when Alienware and them tried their Steam boxes at Walmart and such, where you couldn't upgrade anything inside, but they're like, you can play all your PC games. I think the base model should be $4.99. But then I think if you're getting that 2 terabyte, then you're looking at like $6 or $7.99. And I expect that one to sell more because it's not using like all the portability that made like Legion Go and stuff so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And then I expect Microsoft's to be like a price of 2 of them because they said ready to pay a premium price. They're actually warning you.
Yeah. So for me, I think if just outright out the door, even for a base model with the 512 gig, I don't really want to go too much over 450, which I know is pushing it a lot, but Valve, I think, is because it's a closed garden for how this is, which is the most console like it could be. I don't want to spend too much on this as an extra because I have to have that value, because I do already have a laptop that, I could just plug in the other room and use that like a console, for us playing games. Not as easily. I'd have to boot into like Steam TV mode or whatever, big TV mode. But it would just be kind of nice to have. Otherwise, I could just run an HDMI cord from this room to there and see what I could
Yeah,
do.
because the biggest thing I don't like about it is the fact that they're like, it's a PC, install whatever apps you want, and I'm like, that's great and all, but that means it's not exactly configured correctly to work for that. And I say that because Discord has a huge problem. So without like being able to chat in a stable manner with the Steam Deck, I don't have any faith in the Steam machine being able to do that until I see it running on somebody's with like minimal effort.
I mean, if we're all playing on Steam, I think they want us to use the Steam's built-in chat. I think at that point, they don't want to use Discord. They want us to use our friends list on the Steam Deck, on the computers, and use that for chat. We just haven't really as much.
I know, but it's just the way they're like, install whatever apps you want. I'm like, and then configure them for
Yeah,
four
because
hours.
they showed people doing like 3D modeling and things on it, and I'm kind of curious how that's going to work out. Excuse me, but like, you have to go into desktop mode unless you change it and tell it how you want it to boot, and at that point, it's customization. I think it's going to have the same kind of interface as a Steam Deck. You're going to start it up. It's going to go straight to that menu. You've got the same controls. And let's go ahead and talk about that Steam controller. Because basically it is the controls of a Steam Deck put into a controller. That's pretty much all of it with some extra
Shock
touch
horror.
added in. Say what?
I said shock horror. It's just a Steam Deck without the screen.
It's interesting. So it's my only issue with it is I want to get one in my hands because I'm not a huge fan of the same level center analog sticks. I can use them. PlayStation likes to use it, but it's not my favorite thing. I prefer the offset, but that's a personal choice. I can get the hell over it. Or, as some people have weirdly pointed out, like there's some kind of, the attitude they had was terrible about this, but they were like, just plug in whatever fucking controller you want. It's a PC. Like, that's not the point. Like, but I get why they designed it this way. So it's going to have, the 2 analog sticks, which are going to have the capacitive touch on the top. So it knows when your thumbs are there or not, which is kind of cool. They're using a new type of TMR tech, which is like a variation of magnetic thumbsticks. So that should help prevent drift issues, preferably, which would be great. We're going to have 2 touchpads, which are somewhat angled at the bottom, which are just like the 2 that are on your Steam Deck itself. So that way it kind of opens up games that require some kind of touch interface or a mouse interface more, just to kind of open up what you can play. It'd be good for like real-time strategy games, stuff like that. It has the Steam controller puck, which I thought was kind of interesting. That's magnetically attached to the back of it. You can have this connected to your computer if you want to, and that will be your low latency interface to the controller. And then you can just set it on top of it to charge it. The Steam actual Steam system will already have one of these built in. So I guess you don't have to use that with it. I guess they just sync it up. There's going to be 4 back buttons. Then there's also going to be 2 back touch areas that you can configure however you want. So it can tell if you're touching those areas. I think some of the examples they use is like you could be touching it when you're wanting to have motion control on, take your fingers off of that spot, and you can readjust comfortably and then put them back without having to like throw your motion control around. That may not be how I use it, but that's not a bad thing. And just like with a lot of Steam Decks, you can customize it. Like that's how I prefer to play Power Wash Simulator, because I've got one of the buttons set that I'll press it and that activates motion, so I can do motion and then turn it off by just letting go. That's probably what people
then
are
I'm
doing.
the other way. Whenever I play games like Splatoon, I'm like, that's the first thing I turn off. I don't want
I
no motion,
love motion
I don't want
aiming.
no gyro. I'm like, I just want to use my analog sticks.
Once again, carrying forth this show's great tradition of everything Jeremy loves, Steven hates. Like I said, we're gonna meet in person one day, and you're just gonna look at my wife and be like, "I fucking hate you."
I'm like,
And I'll be like, "I understand."
I'm not
Say
jealous of
what?
anything he owns. He watched the last episode of Shell Shock.
Yeah, that was funny. Oh man, yeah, you didn't mention that on what you've been doing. You were on Shell Shock show. You should have said something. It was fun. I actually did watch that entire show, and I was like messaging you during it, and messing with you.
I saw because I said like hot take, guys. I don't like GI Joe or Transformers.
Yeah, see, I was like GI Joe, okay, Transformers, mother.
I was like, I love the games, but I was like, the shows just did not interest me as a child.
I put it directly on the chat that popped up on the screen, going like, "Hey, so we're looking for a new co-host for the show." I don't think anyone else caught that. That was funny. But yeah, then we've got. I did also find there's infrared LEDs hidden throughout the controller that are used for motion tracking for the VR headset that we'll talk about here in a moment. So, what are you guys' thoughts on the controller itself? Everybody seems to be kind of interested in it, and apparently one of these does come with the Steam machine or the GameCube or whatever. So even if you don't buy a separate one, if you get the computer, I think you get one with it. But Steven, how about you? We'll start with you. What are your thoughts on the controller?
I'm gonna get one just to use with my Steam Deck because it, just like one of your boys do, like they like to hook it up to their TV, so it'd be nice to have the 2 controllers so you can play some of the local co-op games that they still do make out there, believe it or not, or even like the old stuff you might buy that are classic SNK games or Capcom fighting games and stuff. You want to play those locally if you have a friend over or something like that, and and I know they're gonna, because the Steam Deck itself already addressed it too. You can make it so the touchpads aren't really sensitive while you're playing games because they won't be supported unless you configure them. So the D-pad looks nice and everything. So it looks overall like well-built controller, so I have no qualms with it. I'm glad I never got their first version that they ever made of the Steam
I
controller.
think it was terrible.
Because that thing looked like something like Acclaim would have made with hover your fingers around the pads and stuff. So,
oh yeah, that would have definitely been a descendant of a 1980s like NES third-party controller.
Because they're saying like use this with anything ever. So it's just like the Switch controller. It's just going to be super friendly, user friendly. So I'm like, I'm okay with that. But to have it that it's specifically first and always like connected to my Steam Deck would be nice. So
awesome. Chase, what about you?
Yeah, I'm interested in one. Interested just because, like, obviously, since we're playing a lot of Steam games and stuff now, and quite a few of these games have controller support,
Mhm.
just having a controller that I can connect to it wirelessly, I think would be great, actually. So
Nice.
I'm definitely interested in the Steam controller, and I could echo anything Swan said. It does look like a pretty well designed controller, well built. So I have faith in them.
Like they literally said, you can use it with your tablet, your phone, whatever you want. It'll connect to. So I was like, that's good. I like user friendly stuff like that, where they're not gonna be like held to a system PlayStation, and just be like so like, oh, you can't use you know any other third party controller on PS5.
So if I end up getting one of the Steam machines, obviously this will come with it. But if I don't get the machine, I am considering getting one of these. I know I said I'm not a huge fan of the analog stick placement. I know it's a personal choice. The rest of it does really intrigue me, and you're right about connecting it to different things. I may not use it so much on like my Steam Deck, but this would give me the controls I really enjoy on my Steam Deck on my Legion Go when I'm traveling, because its motion doesn't quite track the same. So I tried playing Power Wash and other stuff on there, and most of the controls are great, but I can't use the same motion control that I like to use, and it never quite feels right. So I was like, well, cool, I could use this controller, just plug it into one of the USB ports really quick with that dongle that's already attached to it, and I'm good to go. So I'm kind of looking at it for that. The other thing is that looks like it would be a really good use for the one thing we didn't talk about on the Steam machine is that regardless, it's going to be an emulation beast. Like there
Mm.
are going to be so many systems people are emulating on this thing. You can already emulate so much on a Steam Deck. So just imagine how much more you could do on this more powerful machine. Uh yeah, that's going to be a highlight for a lot of people to use those. The last thing that this will also work with is the Steam Frame, and this was the VR self-contained VR headset that they've announced, pretty much directly competing with the MetaQuest series. It's a 6 gigahertz wireless adapter with dual radios, which is really really good. 4 nanometer Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 ARM 64 processor and 16 gigs of unified LPDDR5X RAM. I know it's saying a lot, but fairly powerful. Not It's going to be equivalent, they said, kind of like wearing a Steam Deck. So it might be a little bit better than what the Steam Deck does. So don't expect it to run like really high end stuff by itself, but it does link up to the other devices really well. 256 gig or 1 terabyte UFS storage options along with micro SD slot. Rechargeable 21.6 watt hour lithium ion battery. One USB-C 2.0 port in the rear for charging or data. And it uses a 45 watt USB-C charger. There's going to be a Steam Frame verified program for titles, so you can which ones you can play it without having to have it connected to a PC or other device, which is good. One of the radios for the dual setup is for streaming the audio and visuals, while the other is just for Wi-Fi, so you don't get the latency issue of too much traffic going through it. Um, this was kind of neat. There's eye tracking for foveated streaming, so the bandwidth focuses details on where you are looking rather than the entire screen at once, which makes things a lot quicker. Yeah, I have no idea how much this is going to cost.
This is gonna have a comma in it.
I hope not. I won't be getting this if it's got a comma in it. If they can't bring, I mean,
When I heard about phobia streaming or whatever you want to call it, I was just like, oh.
yeah, eye tracking's come down a bit, but yeah, that's part of what I think made the PSVR 2 so expensive. It's pancake lenses with two 2160 by 2160 LCD panels and a virtual refresh rate of 72 to 144 hertz with 110 degree field of view. So that's pretty wide, nice and quick. They did have a caveat that 144 hertz is more of a test run right now. So I think a lot of VR tends to run in the 90 FPS range because that's kind of a sweet spot for a lot of people to not get motion sickness, but also keep consistency. Two speakers on each side, which I thought was kind of funny. The speakers are in pairs, but they're orientated in opposite directions to negate the vibration for any of the tracking. So your headset won't vibrate when a bunch of stuff's going on and throw the tracking off. 4 high-resolution monochrome cameras for controller and headset tracking. These will work with infrared LEDs built onto the outside of the headset for night tracking, so it can detect where your hands and things are at, as well as tracking the ones that are built into the Steam controller or the, well, very much MetaQuest style controllers that they come with. Comes with a pair of new VR dedicated controllers. Also feature standard controller setup for playing non-VR titles, and also they're listed as being fully compatible with previous dedicated VR games as well. So
Hear that, PSVR 2?
Yeah, so you can play everything from the Steam VR catalog, which is great. And would have been the one thing if they had supported, I would have bought a PSVR 2 the first day, even for the high cost, if it just supported what I already had instead of saying, sorry, your whole library's gone, buy new stuff
Unless
again.
they release a patch, yeah.
Yeah. Not even then. Sometimes it just wouldn't work. They're using the same thumbsticks as the Steam controllers, which is good. These are running on AA batteries, but you get about 40 hours of play with each set of batteries. So that's a pretty good amount of time. So yeah, the Steam frame I really want to get because I do like VR. I've been hesitant to upgrade to a Quest 3. I've been tempted because I want to play, like, Batman is only available on that one. There's a few other games that are only there, but those things are really expensive, and you are limited to whatever meta has you playing on there. This feels like it will just connect directly to any of my computers and just play the VR titles I want to play. So, but yeah, you're thinking this is going to be over 1,000, Steven?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You think this will actually end up being more than the Steam machine?
Yes.
Really?
The fact that you don't need a PC to use this, so it's got self-contained OS and all that stuff.
Right.
But then they just keep throwing in price points by saying we got eye tracking, we got 4 speakers, 2 on each side, we got 4 cameras in it, we got a tea maker, we got a
the cameras and the speakers. I don't see that being an issue. The foveated tracking of the eyes. Yeah, I could see the foveated rendering being something. But like power wise, they're not ramping it up, and even their own engineers were basically kind of considering this more like a Steam Deck level of power, which is nothing to sneeze at. But I think the Quests have already kind of been doing around that level for a while.
I just think there's too many bells and whistles on this already portable thing that it's going to drive the price up. I'm calling it.
You agree, Chase?
Yeah, I think this is going to be expensive.
If it's not going to already have a comma, it's going to have a comma after tax.
Do you think they'll offer a bundle with all of this included, like where you can buy the machine, the headset, and a controller?
The Steam hardware bundle,
like I have a hard on for Gabe or something.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Screw all bundle. There you
go. Oh, I basically want to have Apple without having to buy Apple.
Yeah, basically. That's about right, actually. That's where we're headed.
Yeah, come to our environment.
Call it the Cleveland Steamer bundle. There you go. God. Because you're going to get fucked.
It sounds like, I mean, we're joking about this, but like if the cost is right, like sounds like all 3 of us are looking to get the machine. All of us are looking to get the controller. I'm considering the headset.
I need that controller. My Steam Deck does wonders, and anything that's above what the Steam Deck can do, I have 3 other systems that can handle it, so I'm okay.
Well, I mean, for PC stuff, like it's kind of nice that would be 6 times the power and just have it connected to the TV already for, multiplayer.
Because
might be easier.
If I'm paying $70 for a game, I want it either on a key card, a disc, or a cartridge. So
I tend to stick to lower cost games for that, anyways. But are you guys considering getting the headset? I'm considering that one because I am looking to upgrade mine, but it comes down to the cost. But like Chase, what about you?
So probably not necessarily me, but somebody that I think could potentially drive that the other way is Shinoa.
Don't do it.
Because Shinoa does love VR. She loves everything. She loves the idea of VR. Like, she loves her PSVR 2. Like, I got it for her. I paid full price for it. I'll admit it. But she
That's
absolutely
fine.
adores it. So like it was, to me, it was money well spent.
Yeah.
And so if she, because like she saw the trailer, she saw the announcement trailer, so she knows that Steam's making a VR headset. If there's games on the PC that she wants to play VR, then she very well could be the different decision maker in this.
I mean, Demio is a big one off the top of my head I
Yes.
can think of that I have the VR for that. They've got their D&D one coming out. You know, I've got, what was it? Half-Life Alyx is one that's on there that's really good.
Yeah.
Which that was a question. They don't know, and they were kind of shocked they didn't show it. Like, they don't think this headset can play Half-Life Alyx by itself.
Well, they
It
have a
might
big
require
announcement
streaming from a
happening in
computer.
about a week or so we're gonna have some news soon.
Well, we'll have to see on that one.
Well, I use my VR headset about as often as I do my taxes, so I don't need a third VR headset.
That makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do enjoy using it, and my youngest son keeps taking my headset to use for different stuff, and I'm like, maybe I could just sell him that one and then put the money towards me getting a new one. Like, why not? That would
Well,
be
the best use of it has been keep talking and nobody explodes.
God, I love that game.
It was
That's
great on
so,
Switch, but it was even better when nobody could see your screen and you're
Yeah.
just sitting there like panicking by yourself.
Oh yeah,
That-
the game
that is one
nights
of the
over
best.
at Swan's place,
Yeah.
that was killer. I love those.
Because that you're literally like nobody can look at your screen and just be like, "Give me that, I'll show you." They can't rip a headset off you easily, so they're just like, "Well, what do you see? Tell me what you see." And that okay, it's great.
All right, let's talk about how I pissed off the internet. So Nintendo announced Pokopia will be a keycard release with a new trailer trying to explain the whole setup of keycards. My argument, which has become oddly a weird debate on this, I was more annoyed because Nintendo had made the statement that first party or their series would not be keycards, that they would be full releases. And this has become to a huge debate, and I want to get you guys both your thoughts on this. We'll get the answer in a second. People claiming Pokemon is not a first-party Nintendo game; it's a third-party game. And I said bullshit on that. Pokemon is straight up a first-party game because Nintendo, yes, they're a third of the owner of the IP, but if 3 people own an IP, you're still one of the owners. You still have a say. It is still part of your group and what you're doing. They help form those companies. They have, they have say in the publishing, in the development of some of the stuff for the games. They're hands off for the cards and stuff, but they also have tie-ins with the anime and all that. So yeah, I'm still calling it. So I was annoyed that this game is being a key card, and I made the statement that, cool, we were going to buy a couple copies of this. Jennifer was even wanting to play it, and we were thinking about getting her a Switch 2 and letting her play it. And we're just like, no, we're going to hold off on that. I'm just going to not get it now because I wanted to get the cartridge. And that apparently pissed off a lot of people. So what are your thoughts on this, Stephen? We'll start with you.
Hey, Nintendo fans, come a little bit closer.
Oh, God.
Make sure to downvote all our shorts because you know you don't like Bubba. But anyway, get used to the fact that unless there's a contract signed with Nintendo or if it's internally developed by Nintendo, they're not going to give you always all on cart. They can give you a key card whenever they see fit. Seeing this is a game that's going to be like very Minecraft, Roblox heavy, I can see why they went with, the game card again. I'm more excited that we're getting a new variant of Pikachu that we haven't gotten in 25 years. We're getting Pikachu, which is a ghost type, it looks like. And we're getting a moss-covered Snorlax or Munchlax called Mosslax. So we're getting new Pokemon in the game, so that already has made it so it's going to probably outsell Pokemon ZA. So we're going to have to get used to that. But I still don't have problems with keycards. So I wasn't worried about this. And yeah, there was a lot of people saying like, well, they went against it. And I was just like, well, I think people may have misunderstood them. And like I said, I think if it's internally developed, yeah, Nintendo's never going to make a Mario on a keycard. But everything else is fair game.
Okay. Chase, what about you?
Yeah, I think Swan kind of just alluded to it with the This is made by, because I think this is being developed by Koei Tecmo, right?
So is Hyrule
So
Warriors.
right, but because it's being made by Koei Tecmo, I think it's therefore they're not necessarily beholden to that all on cart mantra that Nintendo said. Because I agree with your point in a way of it being like, yes, Pokemon's first party, Nintendo's third owner. I agree with all that stuff. I think that I think the issue being is that it's not being made by a first party developer essentially.
I mean,
So
that's kind of a weird thing though, because like I said, Hyrule Warriors was developed by Koei Tecmo. Smash Brothers was partially done by Namco. You know, the last F-Zero was done by Sega. Like, there's so many other companies that Nintendo works with. There's a lot of titles that aren't done in house.
I still consider Pokemon Company a second party, in the fact that when you try to go against and delve into ripping off or doing anything litigious with Pokemon, Nintendo doesn't come after you. Pokemon Company does.
Well,
Every single
Nintendo
time.
is directly involved in the Pocket Pair lawsuit. They're the ones bringing it forth because they own the copyright rights to a lot of the IP itself. Like, they are, because they helped start the IP with Creatures Inc. They helped form the companies, the subsidiaries to help do it, but they're still partial owners of it. So
I
they're,
think they just sit back and collect the check. Nintendo does, because Pokemon Company overall, they make the decision, and they made the decision to do the key card. I don't think it was Nintendo's decision at all.
they might be letting them, but like they have a say in a lot of this stuff. They may be hands off for certain stuff, but they still have publishing rights. They still have like, it's even listed with their sales and things whenever they're talking about that. Because I went through looking through documentation how Nintendo operates with Pokemon, and it's specifically mentioned in a lot of their records for how that is. So it's, yeah, it's not as cut and dry, but they do have an effect. They can be more hands off, and they tend to actually listen to that. But that's because they allow that, not because, oh, we have to. You know, they're hands
Yeah,
off on
so
the
I don't.
cards, and
I just don't see it as a betrayal or a lie. It's just it was fine print, and it was either misunderstood or mistranslated. So it's just yeah.
and I get it for the whole thing back and forth. Key cards, I am having a problem with because it's gone from a convenience, and I still think them saying, "Oh, this is a Minecraft like," is bullshit as to why this has to be a key card.
Well, that's just
The
me saying that
Well,
ever
yeah, I'm
since.
just saying, like, there's not a thing about this I can see that is a speed requirement or anything that would require that to be a function of it. It's already not over the file size because they've already said that it's under the file size, no problem. Um, we've already run more advanced games than this that are just fine on actual cartridges without a problem. Like, I get it for Star Wars Outlaws because that was developed with a faster NVMe. That was their excuse, so be it. And I did end up getting it just because I got a really good discount on it. But when a friend wanted to play it, I could not just hand him the cartridge and have him boot it up. We had to go find internet, and he'd have to try and download it and do all that stuff. And that's become part of my problem because I do travel a lot. I've picked up games right before I went on flights, and I could just put it in and play it. And yeah, this is not every single scenario, but there can be a day where you have that cartridge and they're like, oh, well, the servers are still up. You're not always guaranteed that. If you buy a third party game and they decide we're taking this game, or, you know, this company has bought that one out, now they're having to censor this or change it, they can just do it. And that is the version you have to deal with, whether you agreed to it or not when you bought it. Or if they just decide to pull a Concord and pull the game down, you can have the disc all day long. There's nothing on it. And I know that one's multiplayer. It's a weird choice, but you can't, they can just say you can't play that anymore. You have no control over it. And that's what bothers me. Yes, I know people are like, oh, you're overreacting, you're being paranoid, but we're living in a world where censorship keeps getting pushed more and more for stupider reasons. This could be a realistic thing. And that's what bothers me. And I don't want people getting comfortable with just doing that for everything. That's been my problem.
Yeah, a lot of it is just
It's gone from a
speculation,
convenience
though.
to an excuse.
A lot of it's speculation because nobody knows exactly what's being communicated when it
Right.
comes to that license. I see it as it's just communicating with the eShop. Once the eShop finally goes down, is when all the key cards become useless. And I don't know if that'll happen within a lot of people's perception of a normal life cycle of the system, because they said they're still going to sell Switch systems until it stops selling. So eShop's not going anywhere for a while. So, and I'd be interested in to see like how they come across any kind of workaround, because I don't believe Nintendo's just going to say all your games are now null and void.
Right.
But it's interesting because you wonder if maybe if something ever gets delisted, but then you don't know, because like
And I think that's more. And I think my point was kind of going. I'm not worried about Nintendo themselves or with Pokemon and stuff like that. This is more of a key card thing in general that my concern is. And it's like, I'm sure Nintendo will be fine with stuff, but you know, like Ubisoft, we'll talk about in a little bit, but there's a chance Ubisoft may be being bought by another country that could censor certain things. And they could come back and be like, well, something in Star Wars has to change. It's a whole fight with Disney or whatever, but they could change that. And I own the cartridge, air quote cartridge for that game, but they could change it, and I'm gonna have to just deal with it. I can't just go back and play it without that. It has to be that's what's downloaded to it.
yeah, I think by the time we even come across something like that, I think there's eventually going to be a stopgap, because there's been delays because there's idiots out there that are allowing the wrong things to happen out there in terms of progression
Right.
and technology and just the next step. And I believe, just like a few other even like analysts have, that once they can get the game carts themselves to be the same speed as their SD Expresses, because I
Mm-hmm.
think that is primarily to blame for the key cards, is once those carts can be as fast as the micro SD cards, we'll be fine. But it's got to catch up with it.
My only issue with that is like, so Nintendo could very easily just make these where they are storage and they have to be installed, which I'd be fine with. You still have the game, it's on the cartridge, but it has to install to your system. Yeah, it'd probably take way less time than it would to download, but it would be there. And a lot of these games that they're like, it has to be a key card, are then on the Steam Deck with a micro SD card, no problem. And it's not even an Express, it's just a standard micro SD card that's slower. Yet they can play on that just fine. And I guess I see a lot of this stuff. And the other thing, like I said, with key cards, this is, we'll call it a generational issue. It's like the statement, that places, if you plant a tree that you will never see the shade of, it benefits the future. We're old enough, the three of us here, to have had games that we played that were 40 years ago or so, or at least I'm old enough for 40 years ago. um, that people to this day still play. It may be past our lifetimes. I get that. But the next generation of people or future, it's a limit on what they can play, because these games may not be around in those forms, because we have a cartridge, but it may not work anymore because it's no download. And yes, time comes for everything. Cartridges break down over time, but like you can
Just
pull out an
about.
original NES, and play those games. And there's people that fix these and do stuff and can back it up. But the more we rely on digital, the harder those backups become, where people have to find other ways to try and get it. Like we're going to eventually have to get to the point we're having to break into the memory of a Switch 2 to try and get the downloaded files, to find a way to back them up so a future emulation or other device can actually play them for that generation, or else we're going to start losing games. And I know we have issues with cartridges where if they don't keep up their charge and things like that, but that's a maintenance issue we can figure out. And I think that's my issue, is just that longevity for future generations to enjoy these games. I get tired of people going, well, you can play it now, shut up and quit complaining, without ever thinking of what the next person will be able to play. And that's important to me. That's something that bothers me. If the future can't play it, that shouldn't be a thing. Lost media sucks. Any of this makes sense, or am I just ranting?
No, you're entitled
Make,
to your opinion. I'm
you
here
make
for
sense.
I'm here for a good time, not a long time. So if my nephews can't play Super Nintendo, that's their loss. Bye. I enjoyed it.
I'm not a fan of that view of it though, because like they should
I
have a
don't
chance.
see it. I don't see anything that that it made an impact that people can't play yet. I don't see any problems yet. There's no issues with anything yet. There's a way to
There's
play everything still.
not everything. There's a lot of titles that are just gone, lost media for different formats. It may not be ones you're interested in as much, but they are still gone. And it's going to become more difficult for preservation and long-term use for these things as more loopholes and things like this get used for key cards and other stuff. Like, yeah, it's got some nice stuff we've talked about before that it can be used, but I think it's becoming over reliant where like your background is a wall full of games. What would be the point of those if those are all just key card style releases where one day they're just not going to work? At that point, you might as well just go digital and then hope someone can get the files and just keep them that way for preservation. You know, I've got walls of games too that I have because of that. There's so many games like just for Halo 2, we have LAN parties on occasion where we can still get the maps because I bought the disc that had the maps on it that were download only. They are no longer available anywhere. They have some versions of them on later Halos, but those original ones running on Halo 2 are gone unless you have those discs. There's multiplayer maps that we do for Mech Assault and Mech Assault 2 that only came with the collector's editions I bought. They were available for purchase, but they're no longer available. I have that disc. We can pass the disc around and install them and use those maps and do those things. That stuff is gone otherwise. That is lost media unless you have that disc.
Yeah, and I see how I get and I feel for preservation purposes.
Yeah.
Um,
And I know it's not for everybody. I'm not trying to be like some
yeah, and
crazy ranting person, but
otherwise it is extremely niche, so it's not something that I will lose sleep over.
yeah, I'm not
I,
expecting you to. Please don't take it like that.
I more hate the stigma that people are like, well, I was going to buy it, but we gotta show Nintendo we hate this, and then there's people who are like, just they're the vitriol people have gotten in physical forum groups. That when one guy's like, you can still trade it in and stuff, and people are just like, get out of the group because you don't like physical games. I was like, whoa, maybe you're the problem now if you're gonna like retort like that when somebody's just like kind of trying to get a common ground. So
Yeah.
if anything, like preservation or not, like I don't like the vitriol that goes back and forth with them, but that people are, it reminds me of the Ghostbusters Answer the Call movie. Is that I had somebody, an ex friend now, who went out of his way to tell people never to go see it, and I'm like, why don't you let them make their own decision?
Yeah.
You
I
can
had,
tell them, it wasn't for you. You can tell them why, and whether they agree with what you said. You should not be like shoving your agenda on it. So it's one thing to not like a key card. It's another thing to have no problem with it. So it's
yeah.
just like we don't know what their reasoning for it. We only got a reasoning uh from Ubisoft, while everybody else is just like it was so easy to port. So, you know, I for one, I'm like, because of key cards, we're getting a Resident Evil game day and date with the other systems. Like we're getting a game on all three systems on the day it comes out. Unheard of with most games. There's always like a Switch delay. There's always like a Switch version
Mm-hmm.
planned later. There's always a Switch version canceled. So it's these little wins that I think are a little bit more important to me, and then letting technology at least work out the other kinks that people are worried about. And and then when suddenly the other two systems, if they go all digital, I'll be like, what now? Don't key cards look great?
Because each side has, good
Yeah.
and bad for those. And like, yes, I did decide not to get Pokopia because of the keycard issue. I'm not yelling at people saying like, how dare you get it? But it was enough of a thing that bothered me that I decided, okay, maybe I don't need to get this. And this is not some new thing for me. I didn't buy Doom Eternal physically because the disc was pointless. I ended up just getting it digital because I could play it on my PC and my Xbox. I was trying that out for the back and forth on that. I skipped Indiana Jones. I love Indiana Jones, but when it was basically a disc that was useless, it bothered me. And I didn't get it. The only reason I have Indiana Jones is because it happened to come with the laptop I had to buy. I didn't even plan that. I just bought the laptop and they're like, hey, we're giving you a Steam version. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I have Indiana Jones now. So it's something I do feel personally enough that I will stick to my guns for this. I do make exceptions for stuff. I'm probably going to end up getting Resident Evil. I'm very curious about that and want to get it, but I may just end up just getting it digitally and just saying to heck with it, because that cart, the idea behind it kind of bothers me, and I don't need to add to the wall, because I treat my game room like a library. People come in, they check out games, they look through stuff, and I like the idea of just picking it up, putting it in, and playing it. For the most part. Obviously, some things have to be installed, some things have to be downloaded. I get that, but especially for cartridges, they should just be able to put it in, play it, and go. That's kind of the quick up and down thing for me with that, and it's just what bothers me with it. Also, Ghostbusters Answer the Call. I wasn't a huge fan of the movie, but it was not the actress's fault. They are four of the funniest women I've ever seen. I just thought the writing was shit, and the director was kind of a dick about the stuff with Ghostbusters. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. I've watched it. It's not my favorite, but don't be a dick to other people about it. I see a little kid and they say that's their favorite one. Cool. You like Ghostbusters. That's all I give a shit about. That's fine. I had to respond just because you brought it up. Well, I had people like, this is what I find funny about the vitriol of people. Like, I said I wasn't a fan of the movie, and I even made it very clear it wasn't because of the actresses. It was because of the writing, and like they were like, oh, the original cast showed up in the movie. It's like, yeah, they were forced legally per contract to have to. They were not happy about it because they kind of threw them out when they did it and treated like they never existed and so forth. So it was kind of like
the important thing is, did you say your opinion on the internet or to physical people?
Both. Yeah. But they immediately were like, oh, you're just sexist or this and that. And I'm like, you didn't hear a word I said, did you? Like, yeah. I own the movie. Shit, I've even got the game. But it's whatever.
Chase's favorite movie is Prometheus.
No.
I like Prometheus. It's not it's fine for what it is. It is not the best Alien movie. That would be Aliens. But
when he came in my store and told me about Prometheus, it was like he just took a shit and it splashed back in his face. He was like, I am disgusted. And I was like, oh boy, let's hear it. So it was
that's fair.
That's how Swan and I bonded, was over our hate for Prometheus. That's literally how we became friends. I was like, this movie sucks ass. And Swan's like, I agree with you. We can be friends. I'm like, all right.
Oh, God. What did you think of the follow-up?
Didn't watch it. I was mortified.
I would say at least give it a shot. It's not.
Yeah, I probably should, but
it does have some.
I like
canon in the way it connects and things, but
yeah, because I mean, I like the Aliens as a franchise and Predator as well. So yeah, I need to probably get caught up on that stuff.
I'm curious to get your thoughts on Badlands if you guys see it.
I think we're gonna go see it next weekend. Actually,
I need to watch the animated one. The what's it called? Predator, like something of Hunters or whatever. I just need to stream it. It's available online. Yeah, I've heard good things about that. So, all right, let's talk about another movie. We got its own direct here recently. Now that we can get out of that fun discussion. Oh man. So the Super Mario Galaxy movie got its own direct here, which I just wanted to talk about. The story just continues pretty much where the last one left off. Bowser is still shrunk, but now his cage is a small castle, and he's taken up painting, which I thought was funny. Lots of little references around his paintings in the castles, if you pay attention to it. And I love the fact that in the castle, the little lights are just like little light bulbs, like just flickering light bulbs, like the tiny candles. Bowser Jr. shows up looking more in line with his Mario Wonder kind of futuristic green techno design for part of his effect. But then he also shows up in his traditional Bowser Jr. look with the painted Bowser mouth handkerchief under his neck.
And his weird eyes.
Yeah. Rosalina is shown what was it? Yeah, Rosalina is shown fighting off a Mega Leg from Mario Galaxy 1, which is kind of interesting that she's not just sitting there; she's actually fighting, which is cool. But Rosalina is going to be voiced by Brie Larson, which they announced, and then Bowser Jr. is being played by Benny Safdie. Sorry,
An uncut gem.
I need to watch that movie. I keep hearing good things about it. And I've seen parts of it, but I was not as familiar with him. So I don't know.
And we already know it not only is going to have Mario Galaxy stuff in it, it will have Mario Odyssey stuff as well.
Which the last one did too, because they walked through that same desert that was shown. They're just featuring it a little bit more now. I don't know. It looks like it's just going to be a fun movie. I'm looking forward to it. I
can't wait to get the Old Spice and the Pillsbury Dough.
Which leaked Yoshi, which funny, he's not even in this trailer. I figured they were like, oh man, he's been leaked. Let's go ahead and show the trailer, and Yoshi's not in it whatsoever. So
there's already a meme getting created where people are photoshopping Bowser's painting to show like a design of like a Mortal Kombat character, and then Mario saying it's trash.
Oh, that's great.
So it's great.
I'll just do a key card.
What do you think of this?
It's trash.
I like the colors.
Yeah, I was like, Luigi's trying to be friendly and like be nice to him, and Mario's just like, fuck you. I did see another format, the second poster you posted on Discord that shows the two characters pointing at the pyramids and stuff as they're walking by. Someone removed everything except those two, and they're exactly in the format of another
the
meme of the people pointing. Yeah, they're like, they did it. So we're starting to see that with those characters. So, oh, Nintendo, your shit gets memed all the time.
So we've seen this movie 3 times, at least.
Oh, I'm sure we'll go see it at least once.
Going on eBay if I can't get the popcorn buckets. Like I'm getting everything again.
What do you think the popcorn buckets will be this time? I'm wondering if one of them will be Bowser's tiny castle. That would be great. Just his little castle, pop open the top and have popcorn in it.
The way they're getting weird right now with all these different ones, the fact that you can get for Five Nights at Freddy's 2, it's going to be like the arcade, but you just put stuff in the top of the arcade in the popcorn. I was like, all right,
interesting.
I saw a TikTok about that because they were like coming soon when the movie comes out, and I was like, all right, so these things are getting weird. But I was like, as long as it's not the Dune bucket, we're all right.
So yeah, it's the Dune one. I think is they jump the shark with a just say fuckable popcorn bucket.
If they want to save me some money, they will not emboss the words Mario Galaxy movie anywhere, and they'll just make the question mark bucket, and then I'll be like, I don't need that. But if they emboss Mario Galaxy movie anywhere on the bucket, I need to get it just for the sake it's different. But I can foresee another question block.
Okay.
Somebody's going to take the easy way out, and then one of them's going to go all out, and I'm going to be like, I need that.
Lord. Yeah. Chase, you guys gonna go see it?
Yeah, we probably will.
I'm gonna say we're all gonna go see this fucking movie. What are we kidding?
I was like, he's going to go see it, or I'm gonna block him.
Wow.
Oh, I see. You were fine with stuff before, but now you want to.
This is where he draws the line. You don't see this movie, we're never talking again.
Yeah.
You're dead to me.
You don't like key cards? Get out of our group.
Yeah, treat you like Prometheus treated the alien.
Yeah. God.
Oh
man. All right, let's move on to another trailer that caused arguments. So, Nintendo released a Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Nintendo Switch 2 Edition overview trailer, and it coincided with some previews that went out with the media, which had a lot of people flipping out in what I think is kind of a massive overreaction, which is kind of funny. Some people in the media were allowed for about an hour of game time with the upcoming title, but could not release anything about it until the trailer was released as well. And then there's a character called Miles McKenzie that has led to some people saying this game is going to be ruined by this character. Like going so far as to saying like they don't want to get it now, or they're canceling the pre-order because they think it's going to be this whole terrible thing.
I have some additional context that'll help.
Oh, I've already seen context. People losing their shit about this. So they're saying that Samus should be alone for a quote true Metroid experience. That she shouldn't talk, she shouldn't be around anybody, shouldn't interact with anyone. But they're kind of forgetting the fact Samus is part of an entire larger universe that has
He's part of a Federation force.
right. My first go to is she's a bounty hunter. Who the hell gives her the bounties? Like there has to be people there. You don't just hunt things down. Then you're a hunter. Which yes, we had Metroid Prime hunters, but that's beside the point. She's interacted with other people. They're taking the acting or issues in other M and applying it to everything. Samus has not been alone many times. Like the opening of Prime 2, Prime 3, she's interacted with people. They were dead, but they were there in Super Metroid. And, there's different communications. There's all the stuff with Adam and different games. Metroid Prime Hunter specifically had other hunters you would have to deal with. Federation Force, I know people love to crap on that one, but it was showing other people in that universe. But why does it always seem to be like Master Chief can talk and interact with other people, goofy or not? And they're like, oh, it's great. It expanded the universe. They're there. But as soon as Samus does anything, they just want her to shut up.
Oh no, we got mad when Master Chief actually took off his helmet and then got butt-ass naked to have sex with a 16-year-old girl. Then we had problems.
Yeah, I think that was actually the case of what happened, but yeah.
That was the TV series.
I don't think it was a 16-year-old.
I saw his bare ass in season 1, and I was just like, I didn't sign up for Master Cheeks. I wanted Master Chief.
Yeah, so, I don't think they had him sleeping with a minor. That's kind of illegal.
Well, that girl was pretty short and young looking, so that it was already
still, yeah, they're not doing that. That's a lot.
That's like the anime saying that the girl's 100,000 years old. It's just like, okay, but
if it's an actual person, it's just they look how they look. Anyways, probably edit that part out. That conversation got weird. I wish we hadn't gone there. But yeah, so it's just kind of a weird standard they always have for Samus, it seems, where it's like she has to be quiet, she can't be doing this stuff, and for however it is, but like other ones can, and it's just weird. But what's the other context you had? Because this character's not going to be in there that long. It's just the opening. So I don't know.
Well, I will say that you're in a different Nintendo fan category if you're talking about true Metroid experiences, because it's like it evolves. But Stephen Totillo, who runs GameFile and basically had to give you more context, he's like, let me share a bit more about Miles McKenzie, the notorious new Metroid Prime 4 sidekick. You do scan him when you first meet him. That's how Samus greets. His bio says he's extremely talkative. He said, in a funny way, he said, for better or for worse, canonically, Samus seems to think that Miles sucks too, because through his playthrough, there was times where if we could see her face, we could probably feel that she's rolling her eyes and ignoring him because she's going off to fight a battle. And he's just like, well, don't forget to do this. And she's like, yeah, whatever. And he even said, like, after like 30 minutes, he was gone. And while they may make it apparent that she'll meet other allies, because this is a big deal beyond, like, where did she get the motorcycle and all this other stuff? She needs friends. You can't just build that yourself, lady. So there's a lot of that just says you're taking it out of context. You're just taking it as, oh, look, Jar Jar appears in the beginning of Metroid Prime 4. It's just like, but Jar Jar's not there for like the entire saga of Star Wars. So it's the same thing with Metroid. Like he won't always be there. Like he's there in the beginning, and he's probably their way of being a tutorial by having this semi-annoying guy. But I was just like, just roll with it, because he doesn't stay there till the end. He's there for the first 30 minutes of what is sure to be a huge game.
Yeah. I think someone else pointed out, they were saying if you took the beginning of Prime 3 and only let someone play the first hour, and that's what they had to judge it on, they would have the same reaction, because even back then they went back and looked at it. You were talking with people, you were in a linear part of the story, like you were going through the opening, dealing with other characters, doing stuff and talking, and they were like,
because yes, it is
just as bad.
It is an escort mission per se, because he says that later on Miles joins the fight to help you, and he said, I wanted to see how helpless he might be and let him die, and he's like, it wasn't easy, but if he does die, it is game over.
Right.
but you have to go out of your way for him to die. He said it's not easy. It's not like your normal games, like, I don't know, Ghost Recon, where if somebody walks in your way and you shoot them, it says mission failed. Chase knows what I'm talking about, because when we tried to play that one Ghost Recon game, somebody was running away, and I was like, why did you run in front of me, Ashley? Like, you died, and now it's game over.
I can't say much. When we were playing Rainbow Six Vegas, I think each of us did that one time. We just walked in front of someone and got shot in the head. Sorry.
So, yeah, there's a lot of people that just says that they don't see that he's going to be a constant ally in the game. He's just one of many.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just like, if that's what's causing you to cancel your pre-order goodbye, like,
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
Samus. I get it where they're talking about like, oh, the her being alone and exploring the planets, but I also do like them exploring the fact that she is in a universe. It's not just her every damn time. And maybe one day they will be more accepting of a game that may not have Samus in it. You can have other characters that you might be able to follow and interact with, which once again, Federation Force was not a great time to announce that one, and people were looking at the cartoony style of it, but it was at least trying to expand on that world where they were trying to use variations of her suit, and it couldn't quite work as well. So it's these massive oversized things, which there are versions of those mechs in this game that people have that they've shown in the trailer, which is kind of cool. Like, it should expand out and do that. And my argument for that is if you look at Halo, everyone's like, oh, it has to be Master Chief, yet ODST was a really good game and did not have the Spartans in it at all. You were orbital drop shock troopers. You were a different group in that world. And I'd like to think that worked out really well. Like, the Metroid universe would be kind of neat to be able to explore and see those things. There's other bounty hunters. There's other things going on. And I love playing as Samus, but I really like seeing more of how that world is built out. So it's not just
yeah,
her doing the same
you
thing
can
over and
apply
over.
it, and you can apply this true experience to a lot of
Mhm.
things. It's like, was the first Castlevania more of a Castlevania experience or Symphony of the Night?
Very different, but yeah, that's, I get that. There's so many of those different ones. I don't know. A lot of people are just so strict on it. They don't want a chance of it being any different. And like, how many, like, I don't watch that much anime, but I'll keep getting people like recommending, oh, you should watch this or that, and there'll be some one annoying ass character that's in it, and they're just like, oh, it's fine, they'll go away, and it's like they're really off putting. I don't want to watch this. Oh no, they'll be fine. They go right away. Cool, you're fine with that, but a character here is talking and being annoying for a little bit, and you want to throw the game away. Like,
It's like some people said, if you have to be outraged, be consistent.
yeah. So, Chase, are you going to be getting Prime 4 on Switch?
Yeah,
Switch
probably. I think Chanel and I are actually gonna get a Switch 2 at some point here, fairly soon. We're talking about it anyway. Because there's some games that are coming out on Switch 2 that she's interested in.
As long as they're not
but
dirty key cards.
yeah, but yeah,
I saw that eye roll, Steven. It's being stupid.
I'm probably kind of understand the same boat that Jeremy's in with the whole wanting to explore like some like different things other than just Samus all the time, because I was pretty much the same thing with Star Wars. Like, I pretty much gave two shits less about anything to do with Jedi after a while. I actually, to this day, one of my favorite games, Star Wars games, is Republic Commando, because I like playing as just the normal clone troopers. I like doing things as like the Mandalorians. Like, I find their backgrounds of their stuff like way more interesting than space wizards.
That's what I've been enjoying Outlaws so much, because it's that, like, the crime side of it, dealing with the syndicates and all that. Like, it's been really interesting.
Yeah.
So I have a question though. If Annie is short for Anakin and Obi is short for Obi-Wan,
Oh
what
God,
is Luke short for?
LucasArts.
A stormtrooper.
God damn it! I thought I was being corny, but no, I went right back to that old one. I don't know which statement I'm going to edit out first.
Down vote. Down vote. Worst pun of the decade. Okay.
Oh man. I don't know. We're less than a month away from this. I've been waiting for years. I am part of the problem. I'm buying this game twice. I'm getting the Switch 1 and the Switch
This
2
game is
editions.
coming out before Star Citizen comes out of alpha. Okay, so
The end of the universe is coming out before Star Citizen.
Star Citizen has raised now $900 million, and it still has not come out of early access.
God. That company's going to get bought out before it ever releases anything. So, yeah, I think a lot of people were just overreacting with this, and a lot of it has been an issue. And I think we've all seen this before, where something is popular and been waiting for a while, and then a lot of news sites or other places want to write these articles to try and shit on it, to make something wrong. Like, they're trying to make the claim that because of this one character, the whole game is ruined. Don't get it. Cancel their pre-orders. Retro's completely screwed up. I saw some people arguing like Retro doesn't know how to make games. The real people that made Prime 1, they're gone, so that's why they can't get this right. And it's just like, what the fuck, people? Like, the game is fine. It's one person. Move on. You won't even deal with them most of the time. You didn't even know this person was there until the other day. Like, 8 years we've been
I
waiting
don't
for
dare
this
watch
game.
the trailer, so I was like, I do not want that in my algorithm. Get out, because I'm already getting. Because I think I watched one video where somebody said the word Metroid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting fed videos of Metroid Dread's ending, and I was like, no, I haven't beaten it yet.
Really? So here's what happens.
Miles McKenzie shows up, and he's like, come with me, I'm going on an adventure.
Yeah, Samus kills him and then merges him into the suit, and it's just nonstop talking while she kills things. It's a very weird meta ending. So.
And then the baby shows up, and she's like, finally, another M.
Oh, God, the other M is Mackenzie.
Oh, someone got to make that joke now.
We broke the code.
We figured it all out.
Oh, God. You know what? I'm going to cancel my pre-order.
Yeah, somebody needs to do a Photoshop now of Metroid Other M and Photoshop Mackenzie on the Other M.
Just the logo, just Other
I
M.
I found the lore.
Jesus. All right, let's go into the other game that would probably do that using AI in a shitty way. So, real quick, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is apparently crashing and burning after a terrible set of restrictions and development choices were made for it. So, take into account Call of Duty 6, Black Ops 6, Microsoft, after the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, decided to actually give them time and let them take a 2-year cycle to make the game, because they had been pumping out Call of Duties every year for a while. And I think, personally, we got one of the better Call of Duties in a long time in Black Ops 6. I got it. I enjoyed it. The single player was fun. Zombies was great. I didn't mess with multiplayer as much, but that's more just me. But like what we played, I had fun with. Hell, I still want to go back and play it on occasion. I miss playing Zombies with you guys. It's fucking hilarious. But it was, you could tell the work was put into it. And then all of a sudden they were just immediately popping up before the game had even been out for a few months saying, oh, Black Ops 7 is going to come out later this year. And it's like, did you not give it any time? Like, what the hell? And now we're finding out kind of why it got made so quick. It is full of just AI bullshit everywhere. So all your little license name tags and so forth, instead of having different artists and different people come in and put in their designs and styles, everything is AI. They just did prompts and slapped them in there. Flaws and all. Weird little things, everything looks all messed up. The artwork in a lot of the game, when you're going through single player or multiplayer in the worlds, is just a bunch of AI stuff for posters and other things and background parts. But what kicks me the worst with it is the single player, which I know not everyone's here for single player, but in what world does it make sense to have a single player game that already requires always online, which I'm not a big fan of? That was one of the hitches I had on Battlefield 6 because it was a weird requirement. But whatever, the game at least looked good and we'll go from there. But it gets worse. You can't pause it. So if you got to use the bathroom, go to hell. You can't pause it. If you tuck yourself away somewhere and go to the bathroom and you take too long, the game will idle out and kick you out of a single player game, which is madness. But then it gets worse. You have to start the entire level over because there are 0 checkpoints in any of the levels, which is madness. Um, and then everything is designed, even if you're playing it single player, for 4-player co-op. So instead of adjusting and letting you play, you have to go around and do everything the 4 players would have to do, even though a lot of it is very repetitive, like go somewhere and just press a button for a while to do some activity, and then go over and do it again, and then go do it again because it's in different places, instead of just adjusting that for a single player experience. And that is just, what the hell? Like, I mean, Chase, are you lining up to buy this? Like, is this a Call of Duty you're interested in?
We got Game
No.
Pass.
Yeah, I'm still up here with Game Pass for now.
We've been tube fed this game, so we can just like play it on easy and be like, that was cool, and then that was it.
But I mean, just do these restrictions or these settings for like the single player stuff for the story bother you? Like, it bugs me. I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think it's very less than ideal. Don't get me wrong. Very much so.
That is the most political way to put that. It's very less than ideal.
I will say from, and Chase will back me up here, I will say from past Halo experience, the first thing doesn't matter. The second thing doesn't matter to me. The third thing doesn't even matter, but the fourth and fifth thing pissed me the hell off.
Not being able to pause single player is not a problem?
I don't mind that. I will make sure to pee beforehand, but the fact is...
But life happens. If you've got kids and a kid gets sick or someone falls and gets hurt or your cat pukes on you or your couch, like...
It's for the greater good. I gotta keep going. That's not what's going to that's not what's going to turn me away. What happened in Halo Master Chief Collection is a fucking war crime and does not need to happen in a new game like Black Ops 7. If I'm losing all my progress because someone went idle, someone crashed their game and had to quit, or like a car went through their wall and they couldn't pause, like, I don't like being punished for issues beyond my control. So if I lose progress and checkpoints and have to keep redoing the level because of something I couldn't help, no, you're giving me PTSD from Halo MCC, and I don't need that ever again. I still don't want to finish Master Chief Collection because I'm scared.
I already warned a friend of mine. I was sitting at Starbucks working on some stuff the other day, and it was like a little bit after launch when I was writing up the stuff about this, and he was like, yeah, I'm up here to go pick up Black Ops, which, by the way, they had the midnight launch and nobody showed up. Not a single person. They only had like 5 people actually pre-ordered it, which is horribly small for a Call of Duty game. And then only one person the entire night came in to get it. He hadn't even pre-ordered it. He just happened to know about it and was there to pick it up. So it's not doing the best right now.
I won't fault it because people, for what people are actually buying it for, and love it or leave it. They said multiplayer is fine, zombies is great, and that's probably what's going to keep it going. And it's unfortunate that, like I was telling you and Chase earlier before the show,
mm-hmm.
There's a few people out there who have just said, at this point, I kind of think because they churn them out so fast, they're kind of like invincible to some of this criticism, because it always sells a lot for some reason. Even the worst Call of Duties have sold a lot.
Yeah.
And by the time you're just like, this sucks, they're like, okay, well, it's good that you said it sucks because we're already coming out with the new one and we're not going to update those servers anymore. So it's like they keep moving on and they keep moving on. So it's one of those unfortunate things. And thankfully there's some people who have realized, and they've said, like, I've broken my cycle. I'm not going to buy it this year. I'm not playing it. I'm going elsewhere. There's so much more to do. I have a backlog that's miles long.
I
so
hadn't bought it in years until Black Ops 6 was the first one I bought in probably well over a decade. And
I don't buy Battlefield games until they're under $10, because I usually enjoy them for their single player and whatever multiplayer's tacked on there. But I feel that there's still a good enough amount of people that play it, even when it's $5. So it's like that's when I'll get it, is when it's 10 or under, because that's what happens to these games where they
Yeah.
keep making too many of them.
Battlefield 6, I'm probably not going to get till it's discounted because I want to play the story. It seemed interesting, but the online requirement was just kind of a weird thing for me. I just, if they're going to keep churning these games out, what I really don't like, not only just their weird single player requirements, which for anybody of a realistic life makes no sense. You know, great. If you're a hardcore gamer and you're pissing in a can while sitting there at your computer, that is not a realistic use of people playing this game.
That's
People have
hardcore.
pets, they have children, they have lives that happen. And to say that you cannot pause your game or we will punish you is just reckless. Like, like that's not good. How many people, and I hate to say this, and it's because it's happened before, when a kid is crying or something's going wrong and a parent who's a shitty parent already can't pause their game, so they're just trying to keep pushing through even though that kid is having to deal with it. You know, just yeah, you should just ignore the game and go do something. But there are people that will just absolutely ignore that child because they want to play and they can't pause. And there's
It's
already
going to be
been
the same
stories of it
people.
happening, which is terrible.
It's going to be the same people who lead on EA and buy Madden every year and say it's amazing.
At least that you can pause. Because you can at least have a timeout in those games. Oh,
Pause
man.
to reflect that you still can't play co-op with your friend.
Yeah.
That's so weird. I don't know.
That's the biggest thing for me, is just like, you can talk all this shit even about Call of Duty, but still in Madden you cannot play a season co-op with your friend. Like, if you make your own team, your own uniforms,
Really?
if you both make your own players and everything, you cannot play together. You're not allowed. The controller will not move over to the same team.
I had
You
no
have to
idea.
only play versus. And people were like, I could do this in NFL 2K. So
Wow.
yeah, some things are being forgotten when they're developing games, and you can say all the PR speak and mumbo jumbo, new engine this or unparalleled gameplay or
Next gen
realistic,
fish.
yeah, next gen fish. You can say all that stuff. It's just like, if
That's
you're
exactly what you're
forgetting,
talking about
like,
from Call of Duty, Chase.
if you're forgetting the most common things, which is, harken back to an old big question where I look for in reviews.
Uh-huh.
It's very important in reviews if they lead with something like this. Say, in the world of video games, you should be able to pause.
Yeah, that's important. But Chase, if I'm remembering correctly, that's like back when Call of Duty was saying, like, if when you're in the water, the fish react to you, and they were hyping as the next gen thing, and then people would clip in Super Mario 64, where Mario's swimming and the fish are reacting. I was like, yeah, it's not new, man. All right, let's go on to our next little bit here. So, the positive side of this coin, Hi-Fi Rush Publishing has finally been transferred to Krafton from Bethesda Softworks, which means, because Krafton now fully owns Tango Gameworks as of August 2024. And now that they have the publishing rights, they might actually be able to finally release the physical copies we've been waiting for a long time.
From limited run.
Yes, which would be great. But then it gets bad. So let's jump to that one really quick because it's just part of the same thing. But Krafton has announced a voluntary resignation program for their developers before they are fired as the company moves to a, quote, AI first company for development and art. So the people that have bought up the company with one of the more imaginative and artful games based around music and creativity that I've really loved is now becoming an AI slap farm.
I'm sorry, is the company pronounced Krafton or Krapton?
It's a crap ton of shit, yes.
Okay.
So the company is trying to claim that this is just a complete reorganization and not a workforce reduction. They're pushing for a, quote, an AI-centered management system, but told Business Korea that while this isn't a workforce reduction, it's an effort to, quote, support members in autonomously deciding whether to continue the direction of change, which is the most Chat GPT bullshit answer they probably had generated they could give. So this is just, I now no longer question, like they were talking about, because this is the same people still involved with a lawsuit with Unknown Worlds 2 founders about Subnautica 2. They're still claiming that Krafton sabotaged development to avoid paying them their $250 million earnout from the on-time early release of the game, which this company made, by the way, $717 million in profit just recently. Krafton still says they're developing Subnautica 2, but won't give a quote for when it's coming out. But they're basically trying to push out as many of their artists to voluntarily leave because they don't want to say they're having layoffs, and replacing them with AI for art, music, all kinds of things. So I have Subnautica 1. It was interesting and I'm kind of messing around with it. I will not be getting the sequel, and I am probably not getting shit from this company anymore because that's all they're going to be putting out. The last bastion of them getting any money from me more than likely is going to be if we do get a physical release for Hi-Fi Rush, because I love that game and I would love to have it. But what the shit, man? Like, this is terrible.
I will say for people who do own it on consoles,
Mm-hmm.
they've said that your game will update, but all it will really do is just remove the Bethesda login and some other stuff, but it won't change your game. So they're like, your game will still be intact. It's just that they're removing the branding and the login for Bethesda now that it's transferred ownership, but it won't affect your game, even though like the game being removed from PC stores, the soundtrack delisted from streaming platforms got people worried, but they said if you already own the game, it's just going through a rebranding update. It's not going to suddenly not work for you. It's still around.
Yeah, because it was such a creative game, and it's like we were happy to see that someone got Tango Gameworks because Bethesda and Microsoft made the stupid decision to shut them down, which I still think is such an idiotic thing for a game that won awards. It was creative. It was original title that they had produced, and just was kind of the beginning period of when Microsoft just has absolutely shit the bed on Xbox. This was one of the earlier signs of everything's going wrong. And now it's, can you imagine how this company feels? Like they get shut down, they're all being laid off, another company buys them or gets the deal to get them, and they're like, oh, we've been saved, just to turn around and find out the entire company is being just filled with AI bullshit and people are being told you have to leave. So we may end up with Tango Gameworks technically being there full of AI crap. Like, that's not game creation, it is regurgitation, period. Like,
Jinkies.
yeah, oh yeah, good timing on that one. I was so happy to hear the news just to have this immediately turn around. And I was like, that is such a 1-2 punch.
It's monkey paw.
Yeah, oh god, that's the worst monkey paw. All right, let's jump over to the speed run. So first off, Toy Story 5 got a teaser trailer for June 2026. The toys are apparently dealing with their kid getting a leapfrog style gamepad called a lily pad, which, like, I was surprised Toy Story did so well for the last one, even down to 4. Maybe they should kind of let it go. I'm hopeful. Maybe it'll be good, but you're getting up there. 5 is a lot.
I'm looking forward to Toy Story 8. Andy's in a home.
Andy's already gone. Andy's already given the toys to another kid.
I know, but they're gonna come back and be like, Andy's gonna pass away unless he sees Woody again, and he'll be like, "There's a snake in my boot," and he'll be like, "I'll live one more year."
Yeah, I'm just waiting for them to have to deal with some bullshit AI.
I had no idea that Buzz Lightyear was actually telling us like how many Toy Story movies there's going to be in this
to Infinity and Beyond.
Infinity Beyond. Damn it! Well played, sir. Next up, Red Dead Redemption and Undead Nightmare are getting free upgrades for PlayStation 5, Series X and S, and Switch 2 on December 2nd. The games are also coming to iOS, Android, and Netflix games. So it's kind of cool that specifically the Switch version is getting an upgrade as well, which will be nice. Play this on Switch too. I really like Red Dead Redemption, but Undead Nightmare is like such a fun game for me. Just playing around in the Wild West with a bunch of stupid people, not understanding how zombies work and seeing how it deals. It's just, I always find it so funny. So that's a highlight. Next, we have a new Ratchet and Clank game, but don't get your hopes up because it was announced for mobile only with the upcoming Ratchet and Clank Ranger Rumble, which is a multiplayer platform arena shooter from OBB, is the developer. It's going to be on iOS and Android.
It also includes Blast Ball.
Oh, so this
They
will be
actually
another
use the word
Nintendo.
Blast Ball in the trailer, and everybody's just like,
So is this another
"Oh, you
Nintendo
were mad
lawsuit?
when Nintendo did it, so don't defend this one."
Yeah. Oh Lord. 3 new free characters are being announced for Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. We're getting Knights December 2025, II coming January of 2026, and then Tangle and Whisper on February 2026. So, free characters, always a good thing. And then while we don't have the full details on what's going on, Ubisoft has postponed their earning report and halted trades on their shares. No explanation has been given, but likely this could be a sign of a merger, a sale, or even a takeover by another company, with a few trying to purchase Ubisoft recently and Ubisoft themselves hinting at a possible sale from the family that owns the company currently. So we'll see what happens with that.
So they're gonna announce their names being changed to Saudi Soft.
It's what's possibly happening. And we were apparently really close to getting a Splinter Cell, and that got shelved, which sucks because I really want a new Splinter. I love Splinter Cell. It's a fun game.
Yeah, I didn't I didn't tag Jason. I don't want to make him too sad. But.
Yeah, like come on, Splinter
Like
Cell.
we were working on that and told, nah.
Because that I would love.
You need to make it live service. Okay, then we have to make a different game.
Because I would love to go back and play some of the Splinter Cell multiplayer with you guys, because some of that was so much fun. If it was still running. And lastly, Halo Infinite is getting its final update on November 18th. Halo Studios stated, quote, with multiple Halo titles in development, we'll need our whole team's combined focus to deliver new experiences with the same passion and care that our community has given us. While we remain committed to supporting Halo Infinite on the road ahead, Operation Infinite is the last major content update currently planned. So the game's not being shut down. They're just kind of ending major updates. It'll still get its new dailies and weekly challenges, ranked seasons, things like that. But there won't be any new weapons, maps, vehicles, etc. The studio is moving attention to in-development titles as well as already announced games like Halo Campaign Evolved.
So. Coincidentally, Halo Combat Evolved is 24 years old.
Nice. It's been a while. Yeah. I guess that's about the time I bought my original Xbox. Yeah. I remember that. It was my last paycheck at Sam's Club. Because Amanda and I always have a rule. Your first paycheck at a job and your last paycheck at a job, do something nice for yourself. Like if you can afford to, like if there's something going on. But like my last one from when I worked at a hyperbarics and diving life support setup, I got my first DSLR camera. My last one from Sam's Club when I worked there, I bought my original Xbox from them. So things like that.
Too bad you can't do that if you work at Costco. Can't buy an Xbox.
Touche. My current job, my first check, I bought my first drone. All right, so let's go over to the big question for tonight. So this one, because the holidays are coming up and Steven's not going to be here for our next show, so we wanted to kind of talk about this a little bit beforehand for Christmas stuff. But with the holiday shopping season coming up so soon, what are a few of our favorite gaming accessories we would recommend for others wanting to get a gift for their loved ones or just for themselves for, gaming related things? So Steven, we'll start with you.
Oh, I was really waiting to hear what Chase said because I know he's got the best idea.
I'm trying to give him as much time as I can to let him figure something out.
But I'll go first. First off, and whenever people mention these guys, it's not even like a gaming accessory, but any screen protector made by Amfilm, ever since the Switch 1, I've now gotten it for my PlayStation Portal. I've got it for my Steam Deck. I've got it for my Switch 2. They are probably the best tempered glass screen protectors I've ever bought. They are always having sales that it's under $10. They give you more than one, so you get more than one chance to either succeed or fail. They are very, I want to say, involved in the whole process. They'll give you a dry cloth inside to wipe it off. Then they'll give you like a wet cloth as well to get off any dust particles. They'll say, do it in a place like a bathroom or a shower, in a bathroom sense, so you don't have that buildup of and flying around of dust and stuff like that. They now have upgraded their kits to have almost like what looks like a frame you put on the system, and then you slowly take it off. So they're constantly evolving their screen protectors to get rid of any margin of error.
Okay.
The one on my my Switch 2, I'll admit, has like a super minuscule like dust mark that I can hardly see, so it doesn't bother me.
But you
But
know it's there.
but when the Switch 1 came out and all the other screen protectors were like peeling from the heat and all this other stuff, I was just like, okay, what's going on? And then one person said, I use Amfilm and I've never looked back. And now I'm the same way. Like, no matter how hot the system will get, that thing won't falter. My wife dropped her Switch once with one of those on there, and it hit the leg of the desk, and the screen protector got a perfect crack all the way across, but the actual game screen was fine. So it's one of those things where once it saves your system, you love it. Like, it does what it says. It's a screen protector. It's not just the film that goes over it. It's something more. The other thing, because I always spoke about the first one to death, is get the Switch 2 Pro controller. Even if you've already got a Switch 2 and you're using just the Joy Cons and the little thing, the Switch 2 Pro controller, not only its battery seems to last forever. I swear they just took all the excess Wii U batteries and put them in this thing to make it strong, or the 3DS batteries. But they just recently announced a big update for Switch 1 and 2 that not only tells you the difference between your physical and digital games, but they had a little hidden feature that they're like, oh, we made it so you can change the Switch 2 Pro controller headset to low latency. And now when you're playing, if you're trying to play, say, Smash Brothers with a headset on, you're not hearing a delay. The delay is so small now that it just kind of melds together for you, and is no longer an issue. And I watched somebody try it throughout their house, and they even went to their garage, and the music still played, and didn't really break up. And they said they had to go like almost outside of their house for the audio to finally stop streaming to it. So I was just like, that's very good for people who like to move around, or you know, in another, not in another room, but just in a big setting, or where there's a lot of wireless stuff going on, that it's just fighting off all that. So
Nice.
it's one of those controllers I recommend, and it plays well with Steam and everything else. So if you don't want to buy the Steam controller, buy a Switch 2 Pro controller. It's probably going to be the same price.
Okay. Chase, did you come up with anything?
Yeah, I got a couple.
There you go. I knew if I gave you some time.
Yeah, so actually one of them is kind of a little bit of an echo of Swan's, actually, because I thought about it just earlier. But one of the things that Shinoa got me that actually I really appreciate for my PlayStation is my DualSense Edge controller. So I recommend that anybody that if you like playing games, particularly maybe like multiplayer, something that's a little more competitive, things like that, they are really nice. Or even just if you like playing a lot of shooters and stuff anyway, they're actually kind of nice to have. Yeah, you don't necessarily get like all the rumble features and everything like that. Like, you definitely don't want to use this controller if you're playing like Ghost of Tsushima or Ghost of Yotei. But for, like Helldivers, Battlefield 6, COD, you name it, stuff like that, they're actually really great controllers. I like that you can swap out the stick modules and whatnot. I've also got a for the Xbox, got the Elite controller as well. Jeremy, I think I'm actually going to have you look at this at some point if I ever come back to the States, because I think the bumpers are failing on them.
Oh, okay. Is that an Elite 1 or Elite 2?
Elite 2.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I can help solder it.
Don't let him do that.
Supposedly, Elite controllers can survive anything. I don't think Swan soldering is on that list of things that can survive. But the I've enjoyed my Elite 2 or my Elite controller as well, but I think I maybe used the bumpers a little bit too much for some games or something, because it's sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I've noticed. Obviously, I've got a Switch Pro controller. I've got two of them, actually. So if you have a Switch 1 and for some reason you don't have a Pro controller yet, or if you just got a Switch 1, by all means get a Pro controller. Switch Pro controllers, 100%. I think, are top tier. Yeah. Some of the best controllers I've ever had in my life. So, I mean, who doesn't like more controllers, to be fair? Especially if you play co-op and whatnot. And then the other thing, this isn't necessarily a accessory, I'm going to say, but in today's day and age with games, I feel like it's kind of something that is good to have. If you're, say, somebody that's buying your kid a new console, something like that, keep in mind external hard drives. There, you can find some that are relatively decent for not a crazy cost, and they're nice to have, actually. So something to keep in mind for maybe people buying, like people getting into the console, maybe parents buying their kids a console or something. A external hard drive is a really nice thing to have, actually.
Yeah, because even for the newer systems, if it won't work for their newer games, like PS5, you can't use it for PS5 titles. Series X and S, you can't use it for the newer ones. But it opens up so much space and so much playability for all the backwards compatibility, which is a huge library of PS4 games. You know, original Xbox 360, Xbox One titles will work on those drives.
Yeah.
So as long as it's not too much of an effect, that's a great way to add to your library way cheaper. So I agree. That's a good, definitely a good
It's
one.
a lot shorter time moving stuff to your main drive than it is reinstalling something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot shorter time. And yeah, just it frees up all that space for some of these newer games that are absolutely memory hogs.
Because even
Yeah,
some
and
of the older
a
ones.
lot of the systems will allow you to update those games too.
Yep.
Like Jeremy said, while they might not be playable, they'll still be updatable. So when they get patched, you can still have the most recent version. So when you're ready, you just move it over and play.
Because even that's still fast enough. Even stuff like we are talking about playing Rainbow Six Vegas, 1 and 2 for us. I had those on an external hard drive on my Xbox, and they played just fine.
Yep.
That's not space I had to take up on the internal storage that had to have it. So I have a lot of my older games that are on those drives. They're faster now than they used to be. So you still see enhancements. It still plays better than it would. So yeah, that's a great suggestion. I would also add on to that for any parents buying new consoles and stuff. For the love of God, open the box, connect it, update it before you give it to the child. They'll be fine with it not being factory sealed. You can be careful with it, but that way they're not sitting there going like, "Oh, I got my new console," and they're waiting for everyone else to get through the line to actually update their system. They're
Yep.
already going to be waiting to install their games. So if you can install the games too, maybe do that too.
Unless there's cute Peekman moving your titles, then you're going to have them watch that.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things from 3DS and Wii U days. Didn't really do it much on Switch, sadly. I wish it would have. All right, so for me, mine are kind of focused on a lot of like the old retro gamers and things for a lot of modern technology things. Um, First off, I was going to talk about for what's called the MemCard Pro. So if you've got people that are playing original PlayStation, PlayStation 2, the GameCube, upcoming, they have the Dreamcast one that's coming out, which my wife ended up buying me 2 of them, and one of them I'm selling to Steven. So he'll be getting one as well. But basically, instead of trying to hunt down the old memory cards that these systems required, these are pretty much like infinite memory cards. You get one, it has micro SD card that you put in there, and it can make a new memory card on there for every title. So each one always has a card, and you can have as many as you want. You can have it hooked up to your Wi-Fi, so you can log in on your computer or even on your phone, back up the saves if you want to move them to something else, or if you can download saves from people and share them with them and put them on there. It's from a company called 8-Bit Mods. That's the ones you want to get. The Memory Card Pro, absolutely worth getting. The Memory Card Pro for the PS2 does work for PlayStation 1 games, which is great. The one for GameCube I've really enjoyed because I have a lot of the memory cards, but they're getting harder to find for a lot of things. And then Dreamcast, like I said, that one, it's going to cost a little bit more, but it actually has the screen. It can actually run some emulators and stuff on it as well, which is kind of funny.
Doom.
Yeah, just as an extra thing. I think it will run Doom actually. But you don't have to worry
Everything
about the
runs
memory
Doom.
for that. Yeah. So that way they can, if they're into retro gaming, that might be something, for a friend or a kid or someone to grab. The other thing is if you're also into a lot of retro collecting is cartridge save backup tools. This one I use is from Inside Gadgets called the GB X Cart. Looks like this. It actually comes in different board colors. I technically could have gotten this in like pink or green or whatever else. I got blue. No big deal. But pretty much you can plug in Game Boy Color, or Game Boy Advance games into it, plug this into a PC, and be able to back up and restore your saves. And the reason this is so important is because these things have batteries in them that may have to be replaced over time. Pokemon games are big ones for that as well. And people put a lot of time into Pokemon or handheld RPGs. You can use this on your computer, back up those saves to your computer as a file, change out the battery, because when you disconnect the battery, 99% of the time that save is going to go away. It's called volatile memory. If it doesn't have a constant low voltage charge, the memory resets and blanks or corrupts. So save it, change the battery, so you have a brand new one that'll last you another 30 years or so, and then put it back in here, reload the save onto it, and you're good to go. And I ended up saving that because I bought this because I found a game, my old copy of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on the original Game Boy Color, or got the DX version. But my little brother who passed away, he had actually played it and had his save on there. So I wanted to make sure I didn't lose that because the game is really old. The battery's getting old. So I was able to back it up. So that's definitely a good one to get. I would recommend against buying headphones for people because that becomes a very personal choice. I don't think anyone's ever actually been able to buy headphones that always work with somebody. So kind of maybe just get them a gift card for that one. And that's true for anything. Gift cards are always good choices.
Treat headphones like glasses. Let them try them on.
Yes, because I've gone through many pairs of headphones. These have become kind of my favorites, but I've tried so many of them. I've kind of become a favorite of like Astros. But some people like Turtle Beach. Some people like whatever else. What kind do you got, Chase?
Astros.
It's a man of taste right there.
I got it's the A50s. I think the
wireless.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's the different thing. Like you've got wireless. I've got wired. That's what I prefer. These are the A40s. But a lot of modern controllers you can just plug into. So I just do that. No charging required. But yeah, so that's just a few little things you can try and pick up for your gaming family or friends or children for different stuff. Hopefully that'll help. But all right. I think that about cuts it for this episode. It's been a fairly healthy one. Next week, we'll have to see what we've got news-wise coming up, but it'll be just Chase and I believe, unless we have anyone else join us. It'll be just the two of us. Steven, you're going to be off having some fun or doing whatever the hell you're doing.
I'll probably be able to appear, but not do anything after.
Oh, okay. So you might be on the show. All right. I thought you were going to be gone for the night. I was like, all right, have fun. Like it happens. That's cool. All right. Well, like I said, I think that's about wraps it for tonight's episode. So this has been episode 196 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Powers. Thank you once again joining me for Steven and Chase. And we're out. Peace.
Krafton.
Yeah. AI slop. This has been a production of the Zenspath Entertainment Network podcast by the staff at zenspath.com. The show is created and edited by Jeremy Powers. You can find the video edition of the show on our YouTube channel at ZenspathCom. The audio edition is located wherever you find your podcasts. Links to all versions of the show, as well as to our Discord where you can talk with us directly, is located at www.zenspath.com. Please leave us a like, thumbs up, comment, and review where you can to help us grow.